Our backs against the wall. It seems impossible, but there's nobody else I would by my side to stand here with me to take this fight through the rise and fall. With our fearless hearts, we could be ours, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends if we all go down. If our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. Be legends. We dream so colorful. Oh, we love so strong. The world is relentless, the city won't sleep. It hardens your soul, brings you to your knees. We can face it all. With our fearless hearts, we could be ours, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends if we all go down.
Welcome into the Boise State Esports channel here. We've got a lot of fun tonight on this Friday. It is Michael Fisher and Brenner Bear Lad doing some Rainbow Six Siege as we've done for the last few Fridays. Fisher and Brenner Bear back. And last week I was out, Brenner, so why don't you catch me up on what I missed last week?
It was a really fun game to cast. We had actually Boise lose a map for once that we've never seen before. So it actually went to a third map, and there was a lot of shenanigans. It was a ton of fun.
It feels like there's always shenanigans in Rainbow Six. I will say I have been able to play a couple games with you and some of the members of the Boise State team on Rainbow Six, so I feel like now I'm just clearly the expert. I know everything. You don't even need to worry. I've got all of it under. Just kidding. I'm still very, very novice, but I feel a little bit more confident. I know what the difference between hard and soft breaching is, so I've got that under my belt at least.
Yeah, and you're going to slowly master that upside down repelling someday. We'll get you there.
You know what? I blame everything on having to play as recruit. That just really threw all my game off. I didn't have any special abilities. It was all that. But yeah, no. So it's a ton of fun. It's going to be Boise State versus Hardin Simmons here in this Rainbow Six map. And I'm expecting something crazy here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Cosmo in the chat. That's a great name, by the way. That's a fantastic name as we see the maps there. I can't even get into the map because Cosmo's a name that I'm just jealous. That's what I want my caster name to be.
It's got to be. If the cow's jumping over the moon, he's going to have a cosmic moon, man. Come on.
That's true. You know? That's true. That's a. Hey, you know, I respect the hustle. I respect the name. It's going to be a lot of fun as we load in, and I think this is where you, Brenner Bear, you take over and you carry me through this with what's being banned and why.
Yeah, so the first map we're going to see is Consulate here, and as we all know, Boise loves banning their Thatcher, so I would be very surprised if we didn't see that, and there it is. So for the next couple bans, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw possibly like a ban on one of those anti-hard breachers like Kate or Bandit, or even a mirror ban here. So I'm curious to see what Hardin Simmons decides to ban here, as we wait and they take their long decision. And it's going to be a Capitao. All right, he's definitely one of those powerful ops with his double smoke and double crossbow fire, so I'm not surprised seeing that ban here by them. So with that, they're going to pick the first defender ban, which is going to be the Echo. Echo's yokai is very annoying. So final ban here for Boise State with the Echo and Capitao already being banned out for the defender ban. I mean, if I'm lucky enough, they'll pick Clash. They know how much I hate her, so I would not be surprised to see that today.
I would have to ask it, do you have a preference of bans? Would you rather be first and last, or would you rather be the middle two bans? Or do you care?
Usually the bans are dependent on whether you're defending or attacking first for the map, so personally it really doesn't matter. I do like going after them, so I'd rather go in the middle bans, just because you see what they're banning, so what strategy that can kind of lead you in for the team. But they did end up banning that Jaeger, some more anti-nade taken away, so they're going to have to play that Wamai for this defensive point. Looks like Boise is defending first as well, and they're going into Archives and Tellers. I'm curious to see what ops they decide to pick to hold this site of the map.
You like that that first site choice for Boise State?
It's an interesting one for sure. I personally suck at it a lot because it's both basement and first floor, so then rotating between those two sites is really difficult. And you see a lot of teams actually hold the second floor because to get to basement, you have to go through the first floor. So it gives them a lot of advantage here, and they're going to actually go with a pretty interesting comp on the defending side, but we're going to 6-pick out that Bandit for Pulse. Not a lot of hard walls to breach, so you don't really need his electricity, but you got that Mira, so it'll give you some vision. Same with the Mozzie and Valk. So they're going pretty vision heavy, especially with that Pulse. Did we ever play on this map when we played with you? I forget.
I don't think I definitely think this is the map I've cast the most, but I don't think I've ever actually played on this map. So you know what, I wish I could, because this is the one with the giant garage, right? Where you can kind of go down and you usually see Buck down there kind of blasting the garage door open. So yeah, I've cast it a lot. I've cast it almost enough to know I'm playing it, but I haven't actually played it because this seems like a map might be perfect to shoot upside down on.
It really is. There's a ton of verticality with the 2 first floors, and you can even go vertical for that garage thing too. So you see a couple people do that if they're trying to be a little bit memey, but you won't see that here in the competitive match.
Well, you said the last time Boise State things got wild, so I'd be down for some crazy garage door memes. Does sound like, just so everyone is caught up, we're going to jump ahead here just a bit in the match, just so we can get everything working. So we're just going to jump ahead just a bit.
All the way up to round 8. And it's already match point. All right. Jump in just ahead a bit with Boise State about to get that match point already with it being in the basement site and they're attacking. So it looks like they maybe lost 1 round of defending and then won everything else. Pretty typical for our Boise State team.
So I guess now that, everything you talked about attacking and defending for Boise State, now you got to flip it because now they're attacking. So what about these bomb site picks for Hardin Simmons?
They went double electric, so they're going to definitely go hard hold here, especially with the Legion. The Vigil and the Valkyrie should be the ones roaming, possibly even the Legion, but you usually want to have at least 3 people on site at all times. And it looks like with even our Boise State team, we're going our pretty traditional strategy, as possibly we'll see that Bandit 6 picked out for another Bandit. Are you recognizing any of these maps from last time we played?
You know what? I'm starting to recognize some of this. I think you give me a summer of Rainbow Six, and I will be so ready to go. It won't even be funny. But before I time travel ahead, what are you looking for in the prep phase from either side?
Definitely where the rotations they're making are, like they are right now, which is right behind the bridge. So I'm curious to see how that's going to come into play, as well as where they're going to place their electricity for that garage, because it can be easily taken out by this first floor if they're unable to hold it. And they're going to be reinforcing hatches as well, not for the rotations either. I'm curious to see. Oh, they even spot 2 drones hiding underneath.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Having not been able to see what Boise did for defense, and they're only attacking, and this possibly being even the end of this first map, I'm curious to see how it goes. So we see Boise State push onto the site. All right. Beginning of the match. Fish, what do you think we're going to do? You've played with this team as well as I. What do you think their strategy is going into this?
I think that they're going to try and find a quick pick maybe onto a roamer if Hardin Simmons leaves one there. We do see one on the first floor, and that's sort of what I've picked up. This team likes to maybe grab a quick numbers advantage, get a quick pick, especially somebody like Danny being able to anti-roam. I think that's what we're going to see for Boise State, is a quick elimination first, and then they'll sort of rush the basement with the numbers advantage.
All right, let's see what plays out as we see Legion holding this hallway where Sherb just breached as they're trying to get hold of that first floor right above site to destroy those electricity traps. I see Legion holding out the front of the building right next to main entrance. And as well as Danny looking towards where he was, waiting for him to push him so he can get secure. He does get a lot of heavy fire onto him and gets the first elimination of this round for Boise State.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, good job by Danny. He made my prediction came true. He was the anti-roamer there. He got the only guy not on the bomb sites for Hardin Simmons. So now I think for Boise State, it's just purely numbers advantage and slowly kind of tactically walking into the basement knowing you should have a 5v4 advantage if you can get there.
Yeah, and we did see on the map very briefly there, it looked like Legion was on second story in the main hallway. So I'm curious if he will be able to get a lot of value off of that while the rest of his team is just being breached from above by this sledge and Danny on that IQ. We'll see him try to get a quick pick through the floor, but he's unable to see anybody as they predicted that. But here we see the Vigil on the stairs looking to catch out Boise on the rotation, but we see Juco actually get in on the plant because he was able to get thermite through the garage, but we see Sherb take one out and Danny take out that Vigil on the stairs, leaving the last 2 remaining members of Hardin Simmons to defuse that bomb site and push the whole 5 team members of Boise State. You see one more goes down, so it looks like Boise State's going to take the first map unless he is able to pull off an ace with half HP.
I'll be honest.
Not-
I was rooting for the guy
Go
whose
ahead.
name is Batch of Cookies. I mean, we were talking about cool names. Batch of Cookies is a good name, so I'm a little upset that Boise State took him out. I was rooting for him to go pop off.
Everybody wants the batch of cookies. Once again, we
Exactly.
see Danny with the MVP of the map. Common thing. But, alright, so Boise's.
Chat,
See,
you little
Chad
feisty.
having a fun time. But here we will go on to a map 2, which I believe is Clubhouse. Another good map for Boise, as they've enjoyed picking it, and we've seen them win on it in the past. So I'm curious if we'll see them possibly lose it, and where it should lead.
Yeah, so I mean, I know we had to jump ahead and miss defense, but what would you think for Boise State when we do get to see them defend on the next map? I'll say from my experience, they usually want to get a quick spawn pick. It's felt like every single game we played, they usually got one because they're very good at it. So do you think we're going to see routinely getting a spawn pick? I think it really felt like it was usually Sherb or Juco who'd get a quick pick and the attacking team's already down a guy.
Yeah, they've definitely flexed that side of them, definitely showing off to us when we were clearly the weaker players when we played with them. But I would be very interested to see how they do it, because on Clubhouse it's very infamous of where the spawn peaks are, and it's been one of the original maps in the game, so it's very well known of this is where the spawn people will be if they are, and this is where the spawns are, so this is where they'll be coming from. So I'm curious to see if they're able to pull it off, as we see Boise actually attacking first on the map, with Hardin Simmons defending first. So we know Boise's gonna ban that Thatcher. They love it so much, but Hardin Simmons, we're gonna see if they're going with the same ban on Capital for a different map.
I will say this is the first map we played. I first downloaded the game, and Brenner, you, and Danny, and a couple of the guys were like, hey, we'll put fish in again, and I don't even know what the mode's called, where we play against the NPCs. I got so lost on this map, I couldn't even find anyone. I'm just running in circles. I was like, I've been in this room before. I was like, how do I get out? I would be so just confused trying. If we had like a player cam like we do in the other games, I would honestly have no idea how to navigate this map at all. It's kind of embarrassing. I feel embarrassed.
It would be a great thing to watch. I'd love to rewatch that replay. But we do see Boise ban out the Twitch because Hardin actually took away their Thatcher. But so the mode was Terrorist Hunt that we played, just hunting terrorists. And the meme was we were all playing shields, guarding you so you could get all the kills. It was quite fun. We definitely need to do that again.
I had a lot of fun. It was just, there'd be like one guy left, and you guys knew exactly where he was, and I'm in like upstairs, and then somehow I'm downstairs, and then I'm outside, and I'm like, I don't even know how to get back in the building to get to you guys, and you guys have the call-outs, and I'm like, I don't even know what that room is. I honestly don't know sometimes how these players know how to get around so quick, because I'm like, I'm walking in circles, I'm falling through hatches, I'm like, where am I at this point?
Yeah, it's just some recruit shenanigans going on right there, just having some good fun learning the game. But we do see the Bandit and Echo banned for defenders, so it looks like they're going to leave it all up to Cade if they want to have a hard hold with that electricity. Curious where they go for their first defensive site as well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's something like basement. And we jump into first round with the team picks as well, and it looks like they are going to go basement as well, so called it. Super happy with that.
Now, we only got to see one round of Boise attacking, and as I sort of mentioned, Danny got the roamer, and I'm going to call it anti-roaming. I don't even know if that's the right term, but I'm going to coin it myself. Is there anything Hardin Simmons can learn from that one? Is there anything Hardin Simmons can learn from that one round of defense to change up their strategy? Or do you think they'll just say, well, maybe they got lucky that one time, let's run it back?
With the new map and everything, I think they should definitely be worried about it, which is why they went with the 6-pick Valkyrie out of the Wamai. So they do have the vision, especially with the Mozzie as well. But Danny on that IQ can see all of their cams as well. And we do see Boise also go with the Monty. So it looks like they're going with a slow breach as well, with Danny just clearing the rest of the map for them. And it looks like Valkyrie is going to be roaming as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they change it up just a little bit to play a little bit safer, play a little bit closer to site. As we saw in the last map, they just had 2 members off the bomb site, and they cost them the round. You see members beginning to get all set up and electrifying.
5 seconds left.
And for Boise State, what is their goal here in the prep phase? Because we've talked about how you kind of know where the bombs are going to be. There's like static locations. So in the prep phase for Boise State with the drones, what do you think their plan really is?
Definitely to get cams in and on angles to where they don't get spotted by the enemy team, but they give you valuable information on where the enemy team members would be if they're roaming. So you're going to see cams possibly in kitchen, on stair locations, in that blue hallway we visited real quick, as we see Boise actually begin to breach this supply closet with Gridlock and IQ. And we see the 2 members of Hardin Simmons actually go back to site with Jaeger and Mozzie on 2nd floor. Possibly might get a run out or peek on Boise State. Been a very slow match, which has been actually kind of different for Boise State, as they've been kind of aggressive in the past. Their aggressiveness actually paying off, but they're definitely being slow and methodical for this one. Maybe they fear something from Hardin Simmons.
Yeah, I would also, my noobishness from what I've learned would tell me that if you play with a Monty, you can't be as aggressive because you do sort of lose the offensive power of one of your members. He's still useful, he has the shield, but you don't have 5 members gunning down 5 members since he's more of a defensive kind of push guy. So I would, at least to me, it seems like maybe that Monty pick kind of went against the Boise State strategy of being overly aggressive at times.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely go slow and methodical here, as Danny actually gets picked off by the Mozzie, and then they get an immediate revenge pick onto the castle. Batch of cookies going down again. It's just sad to see it. No one ever wants to lose cookies, but we do see 2 of the members of Boise State at a quarter HP. What's up?
Let's say maybe he's got time now to go make a batch of cookies, though. Maybe that was the best thing, actually. He gets eliminated early, he can go put them in the oven now.
Maybe it'll be their, like, just lucky secret of just, hey, we're going to make a batch of cookies and it's going to give us the confidence to win. Who knows?
By the bomb site,
Everybody
that's a great truce right there if you put them on the bomb site.
Just here, have these cookies, leave us, and we'll just win the round. It's great. Now, we do see actually one of the members of Hardin Simmons down right now, with Boise State pushing onto the site with a Monty, with Juco behind Ultrasen. But we do see Monty go down, but looks like Sherp's going to quickly get revenge for his teammate, as Juco is taken out by the Mozzie, as well as Sherp taken down by the Mozzie, who just came up from behind Boise State team and leaving it all up to Fox on this Gridlock as she is taken out. Hardin Simmons winning the first round of Clubhouse.
Yeah, and I'll be honest to wonder why Boise State picked the Monty, because it definitely felt like, running that sort of shield guy who kind of covers for you, it really kind of felt like he took away the aggressiveness that we've seen Boise State really feast on when we watch them on the stream. So I was kind of curious by that. I felt like when they don't pick Monty and they maybe go for more eliminations, they've had more success attacking.
Yeah, and it looks like they are actually going to change it up as well, going Sludge instead of the Monty. And we're going to see Hardin Simmons also change it up with a Mute instead of a Valkyrie, but possibly 6 picking away Castle for that Mira. Oh, could be going back. They're going back to Monty, it looks like. All right, it looks like Boise State wants to retry this strategy and maybe execute it a bit faster. Have to wait and see. But they are going to be defending the CCTV room. So I'm curious how Boise State's going to change up their attack pattern for the second story map with the Monty. We see the
I will say,
defenders
you guys taught me when I play with you, it's never bad to be the Monty, it's bad to be the guy behind the Monty, because it usually doesn't work out.
Yeah, it usually ends up in you accidentally shoot the Monty because he's trying to block bullets for you, or you get shot because he's taking so many bullets that they just whiz right past him into you. It's definitely a high-risk, high-reward play that takes a lot of teamwork that we've seen from Boise State in the past, but When you and I played, we definitely
5 seconds left.
were learning that strat, and we did not have it, as we saw Monty die multiple times
Attackers must locate
from
and
friendly
defuse
fire.
the bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think even one time, I learned the hard way. You were the Monty, and you're like, "Hey, Fish, I've got you. I'm going in," and I immediately got a headshot right behind you, and I was like, "Well, he clearly did not have me because I'm dead." So I've learned never to trust being behind a Monty.
Located by attackers.
You live and you learn some, just a little bit. Z Boise State slowly push onto this garage, looking out for spawn peaks, as they've been so scared of in the past because they know what it can do. They've gotten the quad off of it before. So we're going to see them actually take it slow and steady and scout it all out as they scout the Jaeger going down first floor. So we begin to push the second floor. Soft wall.
If they're repelling, we better get some upside down shooting. That's the only way to impress me now. I need to see somebody get an elimination upside down.
It'll probably happen. They'll make it happen just for you. Just be like, hey guys, we got to impress Fish. He's casting this game. You got to get an upside down repel kill now. Especially after we lost so many rounds of that first match. But we're going to see Danny get the first elimination of the round onto that roaming Jaeger. Just immediately tipping the odds in Boise's favor. Looks like they already did start opening the wall with Maverick as well, as a drone is taken out. We're going to see Monty up against a Cade on the catwalk. Battle of attrition here. We'll see Cade actually ends up going down because the wall was opened up behind him and Monty just didn't let him escape. Gridlock down to half HP, Monty down a quarter, and Maverick almost down to a half. Things are not looking good for Hardin Simmons. As Monty is now on site, being able to push. You see Mozzie and IQ fighting on the first floor. Stalemate as of right now, it looks like. Just hiding on the opposite wall of each other.
Attackers
You see
activated
Fox
the
get an
diffuser.
elimination onto Lump. Leaving the last two members, Hardin, to get an ace.
I believe in my man, Batch of Cookies. He's got his cookies out of the oven. He's ready to go.
He's got the most health too, so he has the better chance for his team right now. And he is also the closest to the site with his mirror. But things coming down to the wire for both teams as we see Mozzie taken out, leaving everything up to this mirror getting an ace, but she is taken out by Danny. Another flawless round for Boise State.
Just honestly, once again, disappointed in Batch of Cookies. With the name that cool, I expect you to make some flashy plays. You got to bring the cookies, and usually you do that by winning. So, I'm disappointed. I will have to say, I know in other games I'm a bit more familiar with, and a guy who has a riot shield, you could shoot at the toes. Is that not possible with Monty? Because I know in other games you can just shoot at the toes, but is the rat shield too long in Rainbow Six?
So for Monty Shield, it is too long because even when you melee him, he doesn't move enough to where you can get his toes. You can do that for Clash, which I have yet to do successfully because she is the bane of my existence. But with other shields, yes, you can always get their toes.
Okay, I was going to say, you just got to aim for the toes.
For you. Yeah.
So what would you
Monty
recommend
is-
to the Hardin Simmons player there in that situation where he had a Monty who was giving away his position, but he couldn't? Could he have jumped off the railing and then got behind the Monty? Because I feel like just letting the Monty hold you down is not a great strategy.
He could have, but that would have put him at a disadvantage because he had bomb sight to his back and he wanted to defend it. And so if he had ran around, it would have put him at the other side of the Monty, so he could have just blocked off the path and not allowed him through. As well as he was playing as Cade, so he should have had a C4 in that situation, which either he used beforehand or just didn't think to utilize, which would have gotten rid of the Monty. So something just didn't end up well for Hardin Simmons at that play. But it looks like they're going to go for the exact same site, maybe try something different here with the Mew and Maestro instead of the Mozzie last round. I'm curious to see what they decide to change up. As Boise State still going with the Monty, not changing anything up for their team as they won last
5 seconds
round.
left before insertion.
Do you think
Yeah, I mean,
Boise
not
State will
only-
change anything up?
I don't think so. They won last round. They had a flawless round. I think if Hardin Simmons can't find a way, as you mentioned, either wasting their C4 or not be able to deal with the Monty, I think that's a great strategy for Boise State. I said it went against their aggressiveness, but it kind of feels like Hardin Simmons has just kind of raised the white flag and be like, don't play Monty because we don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, they played Monty the first map, which we sadly didn't get to see. They would have known to ban away rather than ban the Thatcher and or... Oh, they actually banned... Just kidding. I'm looking at the wrong bans. Wow. They actually banned the Thatcher and the Twitch, so... weren't scared of the Monty, so you'd think they would know how to deal with it, but Danny gets the first pick onto the Jaeger, clearing out the first floor, giving Boise State free roam as he sets up a Claymore for insurance behind him.
Scanning for devices and traps.
Yeah, I'm curious to see you... Oh, go ahead.
Well, go ahead. I was saying, it feels like when Danny gets the first pick, and I'm sure it's because they have the numbers advantage, but it really feels like when he gets the first pick, they usually end up winning because there's no roamer now for the other team.
Yeah, it takes away a lot of vision for the other team, and as well as the capabilities of tipping the match in their favor, as well as being down a member so early. And I think it really comes down to Hardin just not preparing well enough. They don't have a good counter the Monty. They seem to always lose those roaming matches against Danny as well with his aggressiveness. So I'm just curious if they're going to begin to adapt in these later rounds, as it's on the third round here with Boise State already having an opening onto the site from that balcony. And we see Monty here pushing Catwalk as well, pointing out that there is a rotation hole in the wall there for him to crawl through. And him having that shield, he's not even going to take that much damage pushing through, even with it not fully extended, as we see Fox get a quick elimination onto that Cade, leaving 3 members to hold off this attacking Boise State team. It's not looking good for Hardin.
No, it's not at all, and it just feels like the Monty has just been a thorn in their side. As you can see, he's just blocking the doorway, and they've just kind of say, what do we do now?
Activating the diffuser.
Yeah, and we see Juco get the plan off, as well as Mute goes down. He's just down. He's not out just yet. As we see the last 3 remaining members. Oh, last 2 remaining members. Batch of Cookies goes down again. The star player for Hardin just coming out. So you see only 20 seconds remaining. But another flawless round for Boise.
I just can't see why Boise State would ever change their strategy. It really just feels like Hardin Simmons, you know, as you mentioned, we didn't see much of the first game, but I don't know why they didn't ban the Monty away, unless maybe Boise State hit it, and that's been sort of their secret pick, because it just feels like the Monty has been unstoppable. There was even, I think I saw somebody for Hardin Simmons plant a C4 on that catwalk to try and stop the Monty. I don't know if Boise State shot it out or he eventually had to rotate over and Boise State just simply walked past it. It just feels like that Monty has been unstoppable.
Yeah, Hardin Simmons just looks like they don't know how to counter the Monty. It's pretty easy in my opinion. You can just play someone like the... You can see, so just go really hard into Frost Traps, or you can go Legion Mines, or you can go Capcan Door Blasts. There's a lot of things you can do to counter the Monty, or at least slow him down. And it seems that Hardin Simmons just hasn't taken opportunity of that, as they go the exact same comp with just the Mute switching out for Mozzie again. But Hardin Simmons just seems not to be able to adapt to this Boise State slow push strategy that's been working for him so well. So it looks like they're going to go basement. The one side they were able to hold off at the same time. Boise State was able to get 2 wins with the Monty, so maybe they'll be a little bit more confident pushing onto this site now.
Now, I was going to say, the first time this was on basement, when you mentioned the round that Hardin Simmons won, it's because they landed a C4 onto the Monty, which is what you kind of talked about as the way to eliminate him. So maybe they think they have better luck using C4 in the basement. I mean, I'm not trying to meme, but it just feels like you knew what the strategy was, kill him with the C4, and then they just somehow forgot the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how they just kind of regressed, as they lost the first defending round on basement, went to second floor, lost twice, and now they're going back to basement. So I'm curious if they just feel more comfortable on the site and just don't like second floor, or they're just not enjoying this Monty pick that Boise's been picking. Wonder what's going on their side of the comms, or they're unable to hear it. But as we see, Boise State already scouting out the entire floor, so we're trying to find a possible roamer that Hardin might have, but it looks like the Jaeger's just going to go back into basement possibly, or at least hold those stairs as he waits for the aggressive Danny to come in, swoop in, and clear the room for his team. But we see Monty actually scout him out as he does end up getting a pick for his team onto Fox, but he's left with about 5 HP remaining, so see if he's able to get any more value for the rest of this round. So Boise State now is taking map control over. It looks like they're going to push onto site with Mozzie holding onto red stairs and rotating through the second floor.
Yeah, you see it clearly. Once again, you never want to be the guy next to the Monty because somehow you always end up being eliminated, even when the Monty has the giant shield. Because that's what happened to Fox. He was right next to Monty and he died.
Yeah, Fox was in that other room with Monty trying to draw attention, but we saw him instantly just get flicked on, head clicked, and he went down. So, oh, Monty's actually picked off this time, as he was just riddled with bullets in the back until he went down. Now 2 members of Boise State are down and out, with Hardin Simmons actually looking like they're more comfortable on the site, just taking control of the map, and possibly this round. You see the legs of one of the Boise State members run across, but he is then taken out by Juco, avenging that Monty. And clearing the map,
Yeah,
hopefully.
Felt like Hardin Simmons definitely had more success with 2 roamers. When it was just trap roaming, it wasn't as effective, and it felt like adding Lump to that sort of roamer, putting him on the second floor, that felt like a better strategy for Hardin Simmons.
Yeah, they definitely did much better with it, as well as they got a pick onto Juco, who had the diffuser as they dropped onto bomb site, leaving just Sherb and Danny to take on the defenders of Hardin. But we see Danny take out one, but then he's taken out by the Maestro, leaving a 1v3 situation here for Sherb. See if he's able to pull out this triple. He's able to get 1 so far, making it a double for him so far. So he might actually get a quad. Another member going down, and Sherb pulling out the round with 4 eliminations for his team.
That was incredible.
Hardin did.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, Hardin did really well that round. They definitely came back together with that defense on basement. They definitely seemed to do better there, but Sherb just definitely pulled out that round for his team, getting a quad that round, tying him with Danny now with 6 kills on each end. As we see, Hardin once again going basement. What's up?
I was kind of curious with why the first player that Sherb took out there in that crazy little spree there. What do you think he was doing moving in front of the doorway? I would think in a 1v3 with the diffuser dropped, you just hold the sight lines and with 20 seconds left and say he's got to come to us. It really felt like Hardin Simmons tried to go to him, which feels completely wrong in that scenario.
Yeah, we saw there Sherb was actually able to get just his legs as he walked across from the hatch, and that's something that comes down to like rookie mistakes of you just need to know this is the angle that they can see through the doorway and through the hatch, so you don't walk past that. And I think you're right there with defenders and having a time limit. You just hold your angles and don't get antsy and try to push. So I think it's Hardin just getting, I guess, too much adrenaline in their system, saying, hey, we're up in numbers, it's a 1v3, we got this, and then ended up costing them the round.
And I'll be curious to see if Hardin Simmons goes with this sort of first floor roamer, second floor roamer with trap and lump like they did last round, because I thought that worked. I thought just having trap roam has not worked. Danny's won that 1v1 almost every time, but I did like having a lump on the second floor and giving him basically the ability to come down, and he got a huge pick onto the Monty, so I'll be curious if they do that again.
I hope they do, because, like you said, it got them the advantage in the round and ended up making it a 1v3, which they could have held if they were just more patient with holding the site as well. But it looks like they're going to go with Valkyrie instead of the Mirror this time, as well as Castle, which I don't... No, they did have last round, didn't they? I don't remember. Things happen too fast in Batch of Cookies.
I think Batch of Cookies has been on the Castle almost every time.
He was the Mirror 1 round, but he is actually going to get taken down by Danny, it looks like. As he was just out there roaming, got caught in rotation, it seems. But Danny is also down to a quarter HP there. So, we'll see if Hardin's able to capitalize on this with both Frog and Lump in cash right now, above Fox.
Yeah, it feels like Hardin
Just
Simmons went from, all right, we had one roamer, now we have two, and now there's like, all right, everybody roam because that might work better. I'm curious why they went so aggressive roaming here.
I think they're just trying to change up their strategy to see what works. First, they went with the one roamer, then they went two, and that almost worked. So now they're just going to say, all right, if we could do one more roamer, what can happen? But it looks like he was just picked off in rotation by Boise State, just shooting through windows and getting a lucky pick, it seemed. And here we see Boise State taking over that kitchen hatch, trying to breach onto that basement B site. And we see Sherb take out the Cade, but Danny then taken out by Trap, who is on the stairs, like we mentioned earlier, but he is then immediately taken out by Fox. And Sherb getting another one, leaving it a 4v1 for this Mozzie to push back onto his site and encountering a Monty. You see the C4 miss, so that removes his option for getting onto site through that way and dealing with that Monty. So really coming all down to this. Look, Boise State securing the round, it seems, with only 20 seconds remaining in this Mozzie. Not really having anywhere to go.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's got really anywhere.
It looks like he was getting Mozzie's Montag actually down to 1 HP by getting his toes just obliterated, but Mozzie was even taken out by Juco. Once again, this Monty just commanding the place against Hardin.
Yeah, it really feels like Hardin doesn't have an answer. So I know we're rooting for Boise State, but quickly, Brenner, what would a team comp you would put together for Hardin to just shut down this Monty? Because it feels like Boise State is super content to say, if you can't beat Monty, you're not going to beat us.
My go-to would be Goyo for sure, because his shields block off doorways, so Monty would then have to take down a shield and go over them, or Boise State would then have to destroy them somehow, which spreads fire, taking away more time. Something like Frost or Capcan with his explosives, or even Legion with his Go mines, which forces you to stop, take it out, or you'll just keep taking damage. They just need more traps, it seems. They're just going too much of a hard hold with nothing to hold them back. Hardin just not adapting to the Monty at all.
Yeah, it feels like it's a hard hold, but Monty just kind of says, what are you holding as I walk into you with a giant shield you can't shoot through?
Yeah, Hardin just... I guess they don't have practice against a Monty or something. They're just not having a good time, it seems. You see the defense kick off Hardin.
This is Boise State versus Hardin Simmons University in Rainbow Six Siege. Boise State took the first map 7-1 and now well on their way attacking here. It looks like maybe they're setting themselves up for another 6-1 start to the game.
Yeah, we're going to see Hardin actually swap to a new bomb site on the second floor, which is master bedroom and exercise, as Boise State staying with the same attackers and Hardin changing it back to the Miracade and Mute instead of that Mozzie Castle. So I'm curious to see if they're able to capitalize on this a little bit more than they have in the past sites.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I mean, this just feels like unless Hardin Simmons gets a huge pick... Yeah, a little. I was going to say, this just really feels like unless Hardin Simmons gets a pick onto the Monty like we saw them get one time with their dual roamers, it just feels like they don't stand a chance here. I mean, because otherwise, Ultraset's just said, I'm going to walk onto the site and there's not a single thing you can do to stop me.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, with that mentality, they definitely can, because Hardin just hasn't been able to stop this Monty. It's been really interesting to see just a repeat of that Mira on Cafe as we saw in the very first match we casted. But here we're going to see Boise actually push a wall, but the charge quickly taken out as two members of Hardin are watching that wall that they didn't. This is very interesting. It's just game a little cat and mouse right here, as they're not bandit tricking, but Cade tricking. No damage done yet, but it has definitely been a slow... Looks like Boise's finally going to get it taken out, as now they have an opening into that hallway. As all the members of Hardin are holding on site with only one roamer, it seems, but we don't know where he is.
I'm surprised they
game
went
just
back
going
to the
very
one
slow for
roamer
both teams, it
strategy.
Yeah, that didn't work for him in the first round, but the 2 roamers did. But my guess is because they're holding second floor, going to basement and first floor doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for the attackers. And we do see that Monty just outside as Danny's already pushing on to site. But it's very interesting to see how they'll maybe possibly change their defense up here to deal with both the Monty and the loss of control of the map, it seems.
Yeah, that just seems like another situation as you saw there. Batch of Cookie just staring at the Monty with nothing he can do but kind of just get called out for his location. And you can see Monty's trapped Batch of Cookies in a corner right now. He actually cannot go anywhere. And he went down. It just feels like they have no answer for this Monty.
Yeah, Juco and Danny just pushing onto site, taking out 4 members of Hardin Simmons and end up winning the round flawless, putting the match into a 5-1. Looks like with our audio bugs, we're going to have another rehost coming up. Hopefully during this rehost while we wait... Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, hopefully during this rehost, Hardin can come back together and figure out how to counter this Monty, who's just been kind of throwing him for a loop.
Yeah, I'm really curious how they're going to counter this Monty. I guess I would say the one thing is Boise State only had to do 1 round of attacking on the first map because they played so well defensively that we didn't see with the 6-1 lead, so they didn't actually bring out the Monty, because right now it feels like Hardin Simmons should have banned the Monty to start because they just have not had an answer. Yeah, I was going to say, they've got to use this time to find a counter. I don't know if it's retroactively ban the Monty, because right now it just feels like they see the Monty and whoever he finds just kind of puts his controller down or takes his hand off the keyboard, I guess I should say, and just kind of, I'm going to go make some cookies because honestly I can't move right now.
Yeah, and with Batch of Cookies not doing anything, he definitely has all the time in the world because they can't push him or hurt him, it seems. So we're going to see a return to the game though, but hopefully Hardin was able to pull things together and actually find a way to counter this Monty, who's just been kind of hurting him a lot. But we're going to see Boise State now go on the defense after winning that past round, it seems, with that 5-1. So I'm curious to see if Hardin's going to try to adapt that Monty strat and kind of fight Boise with their own idea or do something a little bit different. As we see them go with a Buck, Thermite, Sledge, Ash, and Zofia. But we're going to see Fox actually disconnect here. So we might have to have one quick little break unless he's able to come back.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, for Hardin Simmons, I don't want to say that they're out of it, but I wouldn't hate if they kind of copy Boise State's comp and said, all right, let's see if Boise State can show us how to counter the Monty, because I feel like that's going to be something they're going to run into a lot. So I wouldn't hate saying, hey, maybe not throw the round, but hey, can somebody show us how to counter Monty? Because right now he feels like an auto lose when he's played against us.
Yeah, it's definitely something interesting. I would be curious to see if they end up doing it. But it looks like they're going to stick with their team as well. And we're going to see Boise go with the Mirror Pulse Cade Jaeger. A little defense that we've seen before from this team, as Jaeger wasn't banned away this time, as he was in the last map.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Looks like we're going to continue on without Fox as time ran out, it seems. It's a little bit slow, but see if Hardin's able to take advantage of this 4v5 already.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have any advice for Boise State basically starting down a man here?
I would say play like you're not missing one. I mean, you have to play confidently and just be like, all right, we're going to still have our one roamer. We're going to reinforce where we can. Like, they are down those 2 reinforcements, but with how much they've used in the past, I think we'll be just fine. And they still have Danny, Sherb, Juco, and Ultrasen. Missing Fox is sad, but they got this. I believe in them. I'm curious to see how Hardin does on the attack as well. They were just did not do well for that defense.
And I would be, I don't know, maybe this is just me from other games, but in other games like Overwatch or League of Legends, it feels like when you're down a man, the best strat is to just be over-aggressive because you kind of have that room for error. Do you think Hardin Simmons will try and do that knowing it's a 5v4?
With how we've seen them play defense and the little bit we saw them just play aggressively, I don't think they will. Looks like they're still going to play kind of a bit slow, methodical, as he's going to just Sledge to the ground by accident as he throws out his drone instead. Looks like Hardin just trying to gain a footing in this matchup. As we see all 4 members of Boise holding onto bomb site, trying to get as much info about the enemy team as they can with that Danny on pulse. Trying to find out where they're going, where they're going to attack. As Hardin Simmons trying to figure out if Boise even has a roamer, as they're playing very cautiously.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would you give up your roamer in this situation, or would you keep your roamer and just have 3 on the site?
Well, we weren't able to see Boise defend on that first map, but my guess is they would have at least a roamer, so they know what Danny is capable of on defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to play cautiously. So with Boise State already down a member, they should definitely stay on site. As we see Danny actually picked off by Trap as they push onto site very quickly. Trap does go down to a little bit over half HP.
Attackers have located a bomb.
This match going very slow and methodical for both teams. We're going to see them drone out as much as possible.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Oh, we see Trap go down to Ultrasen as we see Fox return as well, but Sherp then taken out by Lump in blue hallway. Seems to go back to back here as Boise State down 2 members and Hardin only down 1.
I am shocked with how
Sludge
slow
with
Hardin Simmons is taking this.
Yeah, but we did just see Sledge go down to 1 HP remaining, so see Mira waiting to get this pick, but even without a Monty, I'm surprised they're going this slow. You know, they have the Sledge and the Ash and the Zofia and Buck even, so they should be pushing pretty quickly to just overwhelm Boise State, but it seems they're just going to go slow, methodical, and just get picked off 1 by 1. As we see Zofia actually going for the plant on A, with both remaining members of Boise defending B. We see 1 member of Hardin taken out as he jumps onto B with Juco looking right at him. Juco getting another one, up to a double, but comes down to last member of Hardin, this Thermite with about 10 to 5 HP remaining, pushing onto site. And he is taken out just holding a pistol as he turned his back, with Ultrasen defusing and winning the round for Boise State, even as they were down a member.
Bomb defusing attempt failed. Defenders win.
Yeah, it really felt like Hardin Simmons was playing with a Monty or something. Like I said, I know maybe Rainbow Six is still very tactical, but down a member, I feel like you've got to push your advantage and not bleed out that much time. And they even, I don't want to say scared playing it, but they didn't try and fight Boise State. They said, we're going to plant up 4-2 and ended up losing that way. I'm kind of shocked Hardin Simmons took that as slow as they did. I think they kind of threw away an opportunity.
Yeah, without even having a shield, they pushed the site split. We saw the 1 member of Hardin just jump onto site by himself when both members of Boise were there. We saw 2 of them just run through an open hallway and 1 got picked off. Like, Hardin just kind of playing slow and reckless, it seems like, not respecting the Boise members even if they were down 1 and just losing the round. Curious to see if Hardin's going to pull together and possibly even win another round here, as Boise State has been pretty solid so far, even when they're on their back foot.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm trying to find a way for Hardin Simmons. They couldn't win with a man down, just not from the start. I'm curious what it's going to take for them to win with Boise State back at full strength now.
Yeah, Hardin only has 2 kills on their end to Boise's everything else, it seems. And with Fox back as well, I'm curious to see how they manage to change it up and have a different strategy of attack here, with Boise State changing up just a little bit with a different site in Garage, it seems. Or is it CCTV? It's CCTV. They're just reinforcing Garage. Gotcha. Curious if we're going to see maybe a run out as well.
I will say, just to, defend a little bit of Hardin Simmons, I do think the stats got reset when we rehosted, so I think this is only the stats from the last round. I think we lost all of our other stats when we had a reset. Just
Okay,
one good
makes more
thing for them.
sense.
They haven't gotten 2 kills in 7 rounds. That would be embarrassing, unfortunately.
That'd be pretty sad. No, they've definitely done better than that, but it was probably just a reset once we swap sides or after their rehost would be my guess. But we're going to see Boise actually go a bit more aggressive here as they breach into the building pretty quick. We see Fox just running across the roof as well, just taking command already. Oh, and we see Danny actually taken out by Trap. So already Hardin is up 1, so maybe he'll be able to take this round.
You know, it has felt like whoever gets the roamer usually wins, so I would have to say Hardin Simmons, it feels like they have the advantage, but I do want to see them go a bit quicker than they went last round.
Yeah, with the Maverick on this wall and just looking for that electricity trap, trying to take it out so that Thermite can get through. We see Ultrasen peek it out as well, so I'm curious to see if that play will go well for them, because it's a very slow play of trying to find the electricity, take it out, then Thermite go in, blow up the wall, and then start getting sights on. But we're going to see Sherb actually get a pick onto that Maverick, so taking away that anti-electricity that was their only option, it seems. Hardin just not doing too well attacking this site with no shield and Juco going down to a quarter of HP as well. Very just slow match. Not a lot of things happening with Juco finally getting a pick onto the trap, avenging Danny for him. And we see Nightfog then taken out by Sherb as well. Sherb getting a double already. Another member of Hardin goes down. They are just being picked apart by Boise State right now, just taken out one by one, not pushing together, not seeming to have a plan of attack that's been working for them at all. Was Juco being at 1 HP, Fox low. Go ahead.
It definitely feels like they're playing scared, and as you mentioned, it's been really slow, it's been really sort of chaotic with these split pushes. It really just feels like they're playing scared, and they almost are like, well, Boise's going to win, so how do we not lose? And I feel like that's kind of taken them off their game and really allowed Boise State to kind of dominate here.
Yeah, it really has, and it looks like with a 3v1 remaining and only 20 seconds on the clock, it seems Hardin is going to take this loss here and actually lose them the match and game as well, as this is a best of 3 for maps. Boise State winning the first map, but we're going to see him panic as he tries to push on the side with 10 seconds remaining. Pistol only as we see Ultrasen go for the knife as he's able to down 2 members of Boise State. Sherb being the only one remaining. He goes for the plant, but Sherb just outside the window is able to deny it and win the round for his team. And the game. So, Hardin just not playing well there at all, as just a team getting scared of Boise and just not playing well, it seemed.
Yeah, it really just felt like they had no answer for the Monty, and then on attack, like you mentioned, it felt like they played scared. They were really sort of disorganized. They even had a round where there was an unfortunate disconnect for Boise State, as that was Boise State versus Hardin Simmons University in Rainbow Six Siege. And then even then, they played like they were down a man the whole time, even when they had, at one point, a 4-2 advantage. So, yeah, it really just felt like Hardin Simmons needed to play aggressive, even if they fell outmatched, just try and take it to Boise State, because when they played really, really slow, it really kind of felt like they had no chance.
For sure. I hope they can actually take away a lot from this map and maybe even learn how to counter Armani, hopefully, as well, so that can help them in the future, or even possibly scrim against Boise and just be like, hey, we need to practice against your Armani, can we? And I hope to see that in the future for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even maybe them saying, hey, let us attack as the Monty so you can show us how to defeat Monty, because it really feels like if they could figure that out, they would be a really good team. It just felt like that Monty, it was the only time Boise State lost with Monty is when he died to C4, and that kind of felt like a lucky C4 because they never got it again. But that's not all we have tonight for Rainbow Six. We do have another match, and hopefully the other team either bans Monty or knows how to play it, because otherwise Boise State might run train on that one as well.
Yeah. And if not, maybe we'll see Boise actually change up their Monty, or this team knows how to counter them a lot better. So hopefully we'll see that. And I believe it's against Georgia University? One of the University of Georgia. Gotcha.
Boise State versus the University of Georgia in Rainbow Six is coming up. But before we get to that, we are going to take a short break, though. Hopefully we can fix some of the issues we had in that last map, make sure everything's all rounded out there. So we are going to have Boise State versus Georgia coming up in Rainbow Six Siege. Fish and Brenner Bear on the first map there, with Boise State defeating Hardin Simmons 2-0. But we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with more Rainbow Six action.
Good evening and welcome back to tonight's Boise State Esports broadcast. As Fish steps out for the night, I fill in as your host. I am Jacob Jim Mountain Palmer, still joined by Brenner Bear here to cast all the action for this Rainbow Six Siege match. This is going to be Boise State versus University of Georgia. And Bear, I was lucky enough to watch the first match, and my goodness, Boise State had a pretty good performance.
Yeah, it was sad we got to miss most of that first map, but we did get to see all of the second map as Boise State was just able to dominate against Hardin. So I'm curious to see if we'll see a more even match against this University of Georgia on the first map being Villa, and looks like Boise State's going to be attacking first as well. So Jem, what is your experience with Rainbow Six Siege? Where are you sitting at for it?
I usually cover other games in the stream. This was kind of a last-minute replacement thing, just to help give each of our casters and hosts, a little bit more spread-out time. So I'm here to play kind of the common man. I'll be asking you a lot of questions, just, Sure. But one of the questions I do have to ask mainly is we saw in their previous match, we saw the Monty be used to such great effect. It seems like Hardin Simmons really wasn't able to get any sort of counter for that. Do you think that might come into play here against University of Georgia?
I wouldn't be surprised to see them at least try it once or twice to see how University of Georgia kind of combats it. So with these bans as well, with both Nomad and Mirror being banned, Nomad being one of the few kind of good counters as well to Monty, even though they attack together, so that's a joke. I'm curious to see how University of Georgia, if they've played against it. Monty's not commonly picked on Villa as well, with a lot of their sites being very Mira heavy, which is why she was banned out here. We're going to see Echo be the final ban as well. So without a Monty, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same strat as we've seen in the past for Boise. A lot of just fast, aggressive pushing against this Georgia team, as we're going to see the first defending site on Aviators and Game Room, with Boise State going the Gridlock, Ash, IQ, Thermite, and Habana, a very fast-moving, hard-breaching team, with the defenders going Ella, Jaeger, Cade, Smoke, and Mozzie. Kind of a interesting, harder with two roamers type defending team, so I'm curious to see how this executes out for the first round of Villa in this matchup.
So basically, with Boise State looking to be the first ones attacking in this game, just in your personal preference, when you're playing a match like this, do you prefer to start off attacking or defending? Just your personal preference.
Personal preference, I usually prefer defending, because then I can see how the opposite team's going to attack us, whether they're super aggressive or they're slow and methodical with, say, a Monty, or super aggressive with the IQ and Ash and everything. And plus with defending, it's a lot less pressure on you, because I just have to hold this site, stay in these couple of areas, and just not let anybody through and hold my angles. So I personally prefer defending there.
Well, that's what University of Georgia is going to be starting out with. University of Georgia, which is quite an interesting team, just the institution by itself, a very old university, founded in 1785. I bet when University of Georgia was founded, they couldn't even imagine something like this happening over 200 years later. Video game tournaments.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, they definitely had a rise in popularity, just spreading
5
like
seconds
the
to
plague
go.
everybody wants, because everyone wants to play video games in school. Who doesn't?
Attacker's
why I am
objective
here,
is
right?
to defuse a bomb.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, I get to play video games for college. This is going to be great. But one of the things I think a lot of people miss about esports, especially games that can be as precision-based as this, is that it's fun playing video games casually. It starts to become a little less fun when you're playing it for hours on end, grinding to get experience, making sure that every part of your skill set is maxed out to its fullest extent. So it really becomes something much more than just, oh, I'm going to play this for fun when you're playing at this level.
For sure, and it's definitely something you have to be dedicated to, like any sport. As we see, Boise State actually finally pushing into this site. And we did see the upside down repel for a second from Sherb, a favorite thing for a fish we all know and love. You see them actually not going super aggressive, as they are clearing out the first floor of the map, trying to clear out any roamers that might be there, with Fox, Danny, and Ultrascent, it looks like, pushing through the map. We're going to see the other two remaining members droning out, trying to scout out what they can. You see them slowly begin to push in, Danny using his IQ gadget to try to get things through the floor, clear out possible electricity that Georgia might have, as well as Fox just opening up the floor, maybe getting a possible pick in mid-rotation. Things just playing out very slow for Boise as well.
And that's one of the things that it's still trying to wrap my mind around, is the concept of, ooh, ouch, that's not a friendly hello, hi.
Yeah, things moved very quick, as we saw D-Fox get a pick onto Danny, who is already very low, and immediately Fox then taken out by another member of Georgia. I didn't catch who it was, but things moving very quick, as Boise down 2 members already.
So one of the things I wanted to ask is, just with the mechanics of being able to knock out the floors and the walls, what's kind of the risk assessment you do with that? When do you want to start, demoing the area around you, at the risk of giving your opponents a chance to pick you through the same holes you open up?
You usually want to start doing that after you gain some control of the map. We saw Danny still roaming as Fox began to open up the floor, as well as Habana pushing through that window, as we see all members of Boise State actually taken out by the defenders very quickly in rapid succession, as we see him just waiting outside this window for this Habana to push through, and both Sherb and Juco pushed onto site, just taken apart by the other remaining members of Georgia. all around a fast round that ended quickly from that minute to 30 seconds of when things just, all right, go.
So one thing that's been happening during this game and the last game as well is talking about, the amount of roamers each team decides to have. What's kind of the general method of thought of choosing, okay, how many players do we want to have roaming through the map versus having everyone stay in strategic positions waiting for an engagement to start? How do you decide how many you want to roam?
It's usually 1 to 2. You always want to at least have one roamer, in my opinion, just because it gives you some vision around the map, gives you some control of just like, all right, they're not over here, they're not over here, they're not over here. Most of them are on this side of the map, so we know where to look and not always be constant fearing of like there's someone in every direction,
Attackers need
including
to locate
below
and
me.
defuse as many bombs
So,
as they can.
we're going to see hopefully at least 1 to 2 members here from Georgia, as it worked out for them last round with that Ella picking up Danny almost immediately. And we're going to see them actually change up their defense just a little bit with a Mozzie Rook as well. But Boise State attackers seem to stay the same. Nope, we swatched out the Hibana for Sludge. Boise State's scouting out for roamers, trying to see if they're going to do a run out as well, which is what Ultrasense cam's for.
10 seconds
You're
to
going to see
go.
them try to get some hatches, try to get some reinforcements, some
5
cameras,
seconds remaining.
have some control of the map.
Attackers' objective is to
Now, I gotta
locate
say,
bombs
my
and
eye's
defuse
gonna be on JUCO inside of Boise State, who was able to get the double last round, actually tie it up for a short minute for Boise State. I was thinking for a couple seconds after he got that double that Boise might be back in it.
Yeah, they were quickly taken out though, so Sherb definitely did well on that round for his team being the first round of the map, as well as the game against Georgia. So I'm curious to see if they're able to repeat that same thing but not get picked off this time around. As well as Danny being able to get control of that first floor, taking out the roamers of Georgia. I'm curious to see how this second round plays out with Boise State down the first round, which we've very rarely seen. They're scouting out very hard, playing kind of methodically for sure.
Bomb
Once
located
it's gonna
by
hit that
attackers.
minute marker, we're going to see Boise jump into action, go right for that site. Curious to see how this plays out for both teams here.
I gotta say, in terms of mechanics, I love those little cameras roaming around on the map. That's just such a fun thing. It's almost something that's almost cute in a way in this atmosphere of just complete bloodshed.
Yeah, everybody loves your little drone. You start off with one, you have another one that you can always throw out mid-game. It's always just, it's your little buddy. He's your little scouting buddy. And everybody can look at it and scout it out. As we see Sherb get the first pick of the round onto Plush Rush, that Rook, who I believe was roaming. As Sherb getting another one, as Fox gets another one, and then Danny gets one. Boise State just aggressive and quickly takes out 4 members of Georgia, leaving the remaining Mozzie to just get an ace here, with Fox being about 10 HP remaining. Waiting to see the diffuser as well, as we see Mozzie slowly pushing to where Fox is looking. Going to see if he's able to get this pick here. Mozzie knows she's there. He saw her throw it out.
Attackers
Just a
are
moment of
activating
tension
bomb
as JUCO
diffuser.
gets the plant off. He is unfortunately taken out, giving Boise State a flawless round with Danny, who came up the stairs, and Fox holding that angle still, knowing he was there. All around, good job on Boise State with their aggressiveness, just rolling over Georgia's defense.
So, how many times, let's say you're the last one standing, and you're the only one for your team. In your personal experience, what's kind of the biggest comeback you've had? Has it been a 4 versus 1, a 3 versus 1? For your personal experience with you being the last one standing, what's kind of the biggest one you've managed to actually pull out and win?
When it's just me remaining, I've had the 1v4 win before, usually picking off the first member before the rest of my team dies. It's definitely possible. You definitely have to play a little bit safer. He was definitely in the worst position there, being
Attackers need to
blocked off
locate
by
and
the
defuse
gridlock,
bombs.
having them planted, as well as them having full map control, not knowing where they were and everything in this team. I had hoped giving him instructions on where they were at least. So it's definitely possible. I've done it. I know it's possible. I've seen even the 1v5 before of just, all right, it's all up to you, like clutch or kick moment, and then it happens. It's definitely a highlight of gaming career if you manage to pull that off for sure. But sadly, the Mozzie was not able to pull it off, as we see them just change it up slightly with both the Bandit and Legion coming out rather than the Cade. We see Boise staying with the same attackers as it worked for them so well last round.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Same bomb site as well, so I'm curious if Boise State will change up their attack at all, as it worked so well for them last round. They were just able to roll over University of Georgia.
Reloading.
Needles in position.
And when do you necessarily? Yeah, when do you necessarily feel comfortable of blowing out windows like that? Starting to fire your weapon. At what point is the risk calculation of not wanting them to track you? Obviously, from all that.
I mean, it's just something you always have to keep your mind of just like, even if it's like the last remaining seconds of a game, if you're holding out outside just watching your diffuser that you planted on the bomb, it's something you definitely need to just be aware of just, hey, this person could rotate around and get me through a window.
Attackers have located
So it's
a
always
bomb.
just a good game sense aware thing to have. As we see Danny using his IQ gadget to get rid of those bandit traps through the floor. He's waiting for someone to run around and possibly be roaming, as he saw that C4 on the floor, which is interesting because it wasn't really there to do anything.
I mean, I'm always a fan of C4. As the Mythbusters once said, when in doubt, C4.
Do miss that show a lot. Watch out, M Savage, whenever I can, because he has the best cosplays around.
Oh yeah.
We see Boise State maybe get a little bit more aggressive as they begin to push onto these Windows sites as well, droning out as much as they can, looking out for possible traps at their feet. Two members of Boise State right outside B-bomb, trying to push in as one is already in master bedroom, getting spotted by the Valk Cam. With Jaeger already being picked off here. Bandit tricking, it seems, with this thermite. Bandit being on the other side of the wall. But he is unable to get that final charge. Those walls opened up as he's then charges through and gets picked off by Juco. As you said, Juco doing very well for his team this round. Keep an eye on him for sure. Looking for the final three members of University of Georgia as they push onto bomb site, hopefully to get that diffuser off as well. Fox still sitting outside, waiting to push in as hopefully we see him get a little bit more aggressive here. Pick our team first. But we see Juco run onto site and actually begin to defuse as Ultrascent finally gets a pick onto that Legion who is out roaming. Boise State, all five members still alive against the remaining two of Georgia. Diffusers planted. But Danny is then picked off while he is roaming around. Georgia might be able to bring this back with a 2v4. But only 25 seconds remaining. Things are coming down to the wire for University of Georgia. With one member being down, Mozzie downing Sludge in that hallway right outside master bedroom. Mozzie pushing onto site, having to start defuse just about now if he wants to have enough time to completely get it off. Fox just hiding outside, but looks like Sherv's going to be able to push up on him and get the round for his team.
So it seems from what we've been seeing from this match and the previous match, how many games actually end with an actual defusal or not of the bomb versus just the complete team elimination?
I would say it's a solid like 20-80 split of just how rarely the diffuser is. I've seen it done. It's definitely possible of just the enemy team not paying attention or not being on bomb site where the defenders just sneak in a quick little diffuse and just win the round rather than eliminating everybody. So it's definitely possible, but highly unlikely. It's definitely much easier to get the eliminations and just end the round quicker.
I gotta say, I love the gamertag snackery on the side of University of Georgia, alongside with Batch of Cookies from the last game. We're having some sort of food theme going on with our opponent's gamertags.
Defenders, protect
Just makes
your
me
bombs
hungry
from
for
being defused
food
by
right now.
attackers.
But yeah,
So as you can see, putting up the barriers, prepping for this round, where do you necessarily, if you're new to this game, where are you going to look first for putting up these barriers?
Base device.
definitely on the outer walls of your bomb sites, as we see University of Georgia doing right now. You want to protect those bomb sites at all costs. You don't want to put them usually further out than that, because then they're not going to get as much value. Because most of the time you're going to be sitting behind that barrier waiting for
10
people to
seconds
push you,
left.
since they can't
Bomb
shoot
located
through
by
it.
attackers.
And it's definitely become a
5 seconds
key
left.
player in these matches with these hard reinforcements, as they are defending
Attackers'
now
objective is to defuse a bomb.
Aviator and Game Room. So changing it up just a little bit from that other second floor site. And Boise State staying with the same attackers, just swapping out that sludge for Habana, as we saw in the first round. But it looks like University of Georgia is also going to change it up with an Ella and Smoke. I'm curious to see if this will play in their favor with these op changes. As two members, it looks like, of University of Georgia are out roaming for their team, or three actually. It looks like Boise State's going to be droning out as hard as they can, trying to find these members that are not on site.
Is it a situation where you spot the other team's drone, you know that they have a
Bomb
drone
located by
roaming, but can you
attackers.
really guess the actual player's position from that, or do you just know they're probably somewhere and they've sent out this drone and they're far away from it right now?
Most of the time, you never know where it is, unless they're, say, like, repelling outside a window or just standing right outside of a door, because that's where the drone will enter from. So unless you're right there to see where it enters, you almost never know where they are. It's very rare to see that. As we see two members go onto that balcony from Boise State, scouting out a lot of the members of Georgia that are out and around these sites, watching that door, waiting for a peek, as Danny's taking control of the first floor, watching those redstones.
We have someone in chat right now asking, how can you get into esports? I can tell you how you can get into the Boise State esports program, and that's to go to boisestate.edu/esports. You can get information there on how you can try out, how you could be involved with production, or if you just want to watch how you can tune into our Twitch stream, because we have our schedule up there at boisestate.edu/esports. And judging with how it's going for the Broncos so far, that they might very well want to watch on a regular basis.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Yeah, things happening very quickly for both teams. Things quickly evening out as we see left and right, just back and forth between Boise State and Georgia. Just member picked first you go, then I go. First you go, then I go. Just back and forth, back and forth. As we see Boise State looks like they did take control of the outside of the site, leaving the last two members of Georgia on site, with both Fox and Danny versus Plush and Snackery. And with this smoke, he can definitely hold off the members of Boise State with his little smoke traps, blocking off doorways. And we're going to see Fox taken out as they have control of the diffuser, but Danny pushes up through bar and manages to take out both remaining members of University of Georgia while concussed from that Ella trap. Danny clutching out the round for his team.
I don't know if you could get a better visual representation of just the psychology of when it's 1v1 and you're up against. It's the nerves racing through your body that actually match the visuals there.
Luckily for us, our Boise State team is used to that, as we've seen them clutch out rounds in the past. I've seen it firsthand. It is definitely something you got to get used to with that adrenaline rush. We see it in our League and Overwatch players as well, of just, we got to take this, and they got it. Winning the fourth round, as we see the 6 picks from Hibana, possibly to that sludge as they've been running in the past, but we'll have to wait and see. Looks like they're going to do it as well, because they don't need that hard breaching. They didn't utilize it too well. It looks like they're going to swap to Monty, as that worked so well for them in the last game. See how University of Georgia plans
Attackers need to
to
locate and
combat
defuse
this
as
Monty,
many
which
bombs
they have
as
not
can.
played before, with only 2 rounds remaining before they swap sides.
A quick thank you to FPS Winners and Good Name 76 in our Twitch chat right now, complimenting on the whole esports program. Good Name 76 actually saying that this really helps during kind of the whole quarantine and everything going right now, being able to watch these. And I really agree, because with traditional sports and that kind of stuff being shut down, really, esports has kind of been one of the few remaining avenues to kind of keep that university spirit going. We had that yesterday with playing against the Boise State football team as well. It's been a great way to kind of remotely keep people together.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Perks of being online. It does suck not being able to play with your team all sitting next to each other, but you still get to play, and that's what matters. Here we see the attack begin for Boise State, as we did see University of Georgia actually swap out that smoke for a mute, as well as a pulse for more vision for University of Georgia. So I'm curious to see how they utilize it, not getting a ton of value out of their roamers in past round. And with a change up of bomb sites moving into kitchen, I'm curious to see how they hold this, as only 2 members of Georgia are actually roaming for their team. You see Fox looking towards that, just outside of B-bomb, I believe. And Monty looks like he's going to push up that second story as well, and try to clear out some space for his team. Danny taking over the second floor, making sure there's no roamers in his way so his team can push onto sites freely, not have to worry about the stairs or their back. Try to eliminate some of their gadgets through the floor as well, knowing at least one member is possibly behind him. See Monty also pushing through the bathroom onto, I believe that's A-bomb site. With the castle to his right, he has no way of getting through that unless they blow it up, or he hits it at least 12 times melee style.
Who would you say...
State definitely... Just go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, who do you say on University of Georgia is kind of the biggest priority target right now, would you say, for Boise State? Like, if they could be able to pick this one off first, they'd be feeling really great about their chances.
It's hard to say, because based off their roamers and their statistics of eliminating members, we just saw Ghost in the Jar get a double elimination with his C4, I believe, through that little crack above their reinforced wall. Really tips the favors in their side, but that does remove his C4. Pulse would be a big pick for them, because that removes their ability to see vision through walls of their heartbeats. So we see Boise State try to blow up that floor, get a pick through the floor if possible, to try to even the score, with 2 members being picked off, both Ultrasan and Juco. I believe Juco even had the diffuser, and it looks like Fox is going to get picked off through the floor with C4 as well. C4 with Georgia becoming so invaluable, as Danny is picked off by that roaming Jaeger, leaving everything down to Sherb, who we've seen actually get a quad before, so we know he's possible of it. But he does get the headshot onto that mute, but is then picked off by the castle, I believe, just outside of B-bomb. Boise State just taken apart by those C4s. University of Georgia getting a ton of value.
So if that continues to be a thorn in Boise State's side with C4s, what would you recommend as sort of a counter to that?
It's definitely harder to counter the C4 because you can throw it and detonate it pretty quickly, and it's very hard to shoot it out of the air. It's very rarely ever done. So I would say maybe play a bit further apart, not necessarily of just like, all right, you attack from this end of the building, I'll attack from this end. More of just like social distancing at that point, of just like, all right, this is the blast rate of the C4, we got to stay apart so that it doesn't get another double kill, at least for us as well. And here we're going to see the 6 pick from Hibana and Jaeger onto the Monty and Legion. Legion able to counter Monty just a little bit better than that Jaeger could, as he didn't get a ton of value last round. We're also going to see the Vigil come out, a really good roamer on the side of University of Georgia, with Boise State saying the same team composition as we saw last round. Hopefully they are able to attack this site as well as they've done in the past.
Yeah, maybe they just, now that they know about the C4, or maybe it's just something that now that they have that in their minds, they can use this comp a little bit better.
Yeah, it shouldn't be as big as a problem
10
as
seconds
it
remaining.
was last round because now they're on a second floor site. So unless Boise State manages to just completely disregard the two roamers that University of Georgia has and lets them run the first floor and get C4 through the floor again, it should not be a problem for this team on this site. Plus, Danny always likes taking control of the first floor on this site, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of action when he begins to just take apart these roamers, as it is now brought to 3-2 in round 6.
Well, I don't know about you, but using the Monty has led to some of the most absurd footage I have seen in these past matches of literally just standing in a doorway and the other team just kind of punching him in the shield. I mean, stuff like that we saw last round. It really is kind of weird to see in a game where it can be so split-second and it's just click on this head for the elimination that you can have the Monty who just stands in a door and he's all right doing that.
Yeah, it's very much telling of their strat of just like, we're going to plant in this room and we're just going to wall you off so you cannot get in here unless you run all the way around, which then tells us, hey, he's running around, so he's going to be exactly here. It's very much a power play, I would say, of just, I'm going to demand where you go and I'm going to point out to my team where you are and you can't hurt me about it. Because even if they melee him, he just can't be knocked away to get his little toesies. But we are going to see him taken out by that Legion trap, as well as pushing up on this bandit, and manages to get him as two members of Boise are then taken out by C4 through the floor again, and then Sherb taken out by Plush Rush, who is on the other side at that bar, I believe.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
We're going to see Monty go for the defuse as well, it seems, if he is able. With only two members of Boise remaining, and Ultrasen at a quarter HP and Danny at full, as he is then picked off. And Monty is then C4 through the floor again. Or impact needed, sorry. University of Georgia just doing so well defending these sites against Boise State, who seems to just be playing on their back foot.
Well, maybe a change to defense might change Boise State's fortunes around a bit here.
We can only hope, as we've seen Boise State do always pretty well on this map for defense, but University of Georgia doing very well at just picking apart our attack, as it is now even 3-3 as we go into round 7. Boise State now defending, where they're going to go with the Mozzie, Jaeger, Wamai, Valkyrie, and Cade. Looks like they're going to switch out that Mozzie for a Legion. And it looks like Georgia's going to go for the attacking Ying, Gridlock, IQ, Thermite, and Buck, but it seems Danny's going to 6-pick out that Wamai for Pulse, as they already have the Jaeger, Wamai, and Pulse kind of doing the same job there. Don't really need them both. Pulse gets you more information, more helpful all up there for them. Curious to see how this plays out for Boise State, as we have not seen them attack against Georgia yet. It's going to be new sites to see. We see Boise decide their first site they're going to defend is going to be that second floor opposite site of the one, same one University of Georgia picked on their first decision.
Camera activated.
Setting up their defenses. Curious to see what University of Georgia decides to attack with this, as they've gone almost the exact same attacking team as Boise State, just swapping out that Buck and Ying.
10 seconds to go.
Ying being kind of a high risk, high reward, as she can blind her own teammates with her gadget.
5 seconds remaining.
Curious to see how Boise State plans
Attackers
to
are
defend
moving out
against
to
this
locate
Ying.
a bomb and defuse it.
They do have the Jaeger, but he only has so many charges he can do against this team.
So based on the previous match that we saw where Boise State pulled out victory 7-1, what do you think is kind of the biggest difference between the two opponents that Boise State has gone up against, the University of Georgia, this round? What's kind of been the biggest difference between the two games we've seen tonight in your mind?
Georgia's had control of the maps, and they knew how to deal with a Monty. I mean, they definitely have been taking control of the map, saying, you can't go here unless you go through me. And at this rate, Boise State's just been kind of overruled by Georgia's aggressiveness. They've been playing very straightforward, and we see them closing in on site already as they've walked through the map. Boise State not having any control of the map outside of sight, it seems, at the moment. As we see one member of Boise already go down to the Fox, who did lose most of his HP as he's down to just a little bit over 10 HP now. He's picked off a little bit more by Sherb as he's holding off that door. Danny trying to get the C4 through the floor just like they did last round. A couple rounds, actually. But he just barely missed him outside the window. He's trying to get as much information as he can for his team as they push onto site. Sherb manages to get the pick onto the Ying, leaving the Gridlock at 1 HP, but sadly, Ultrascent is then picked off as Sherb gets a pick onto the Defox, and then Ghost in Jar then gets the pick on Defox, as then we see Sherb then picked off, leaving everything down to Danny, who's not even on site, with 3 members of Georgia left, and Plush Rush planting on
Attackers are
site.
activating the diffuser.
Danny only having a little bit above half HP is going to have to pull off a triple here if he wants to win this round for his team.
Quite the unenviable position.
Yeah, he's definitely on his back foot here as he knows they are on the other site. He has to push for it as they just have all the cards in their hand right now. He does have the information of where they are, but he is sadly just pinched on by both sides as he is taken out from his back by Plush Rush.
So Boise State now losing 3 in a row. Do you think just kind of the biggest roadblock to them has just been maybe University of Georgia almost kind of scouting them out? Because sometimes in multiple games we see a team lose the first couple of rounds, but as they get used to their opponent and just how they play, they can really stage big comebacks.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possible case here, as Boise State's just been playing kind of slow and methodically, it seems, as whereas University of Georgia's been playing kind of aggressive and taking command of the situation, like forcing them to fight where they want to fight at that point, and just saying, we got this, what are you going to do about it? So Boise State definitely needs to get into their element here, as they're going to 6-pick the smoke into Warden, as they fear for that Ying that they had last round, who got decent value before she was quickly picked off. So I'm curious to see what Boise State will also do with Danny roaming, as well as possibly that Vigil that they picked, to see if they can say, hey, we have control of the map, try to
Attackers need
push
to locate
sites
and
now.
defuse bombs.
Here we do see they decided to change second to the other second floor site, both in Game Room and in Aviator. So I'm curious to see if this will change up University of Georgia's attack plan either, or is it just pure speed and aggression? And Jim, from what you've seen, do you think they'll change anything up, or you think they'll stay the same? What's your opinion on it?
You know, in terms of changing things up or staying the same, I really just have to look back to the last match we saw, and it was kind of the other team's inability to be flexible that really kind of lost it for them. So I'm more looking forward to, you know, what the ultimate outcome of this is, because what we saw last time is sometimes if you're too inflexible or you say, okay, we're going to stick with this comp all the way through, that's something then the other team can exploit.
For sure, and here we see the attackers just now begin their assault onto this second floor site, as they were able to scout out where the bombs were. It looks like both Fox and one other roamer, it seems, for BSU will be out in the map as the other remaining members are on site. So I'm curious to see if also Danny on this Warden will be able to get value against this Ying, as he is not the best op at the moment. He needs a couple buffs to be kind of where he should be. But looks like 3 members are going to stay on site, as both Fox and Sherb are going to be out roaming this time. Danny's going to be an anchor, we've so rarely seen, but it looks like University of Georgia is going to push through that master bedroom second floor site through Astral as well. And it looks like they're not even going to go first floor and just take command of the rest of the second floor half of the building and just start pushing the site, as we see Defox begin to push up and try to get a little PC on a Toad, possibly. And he is able to get a little bit of fear, but he's also going to take some damage, going almost down to half HP, trying to get another C4 through the wall, it seems, from that Cade, but looks like he's going to save it. They do manage to notice that Ying's in the hallway, and so is that gridlock. As Juko's just outside, but Sherb is going to get picked off by that gridlock as he peeks the door, but Juko's quickly going to avenge his teammate. And Fox then going to get a headshot onto Buck, but then quickly taken out by Snackery, bringing him down to less than a quarter HP. Once again, it's evened up 3v3, with Boise State having the health advantage. We come to that 45-second marker where usually the attackers have to say, all right, we're running out of time, we got to push, we got to make the move. The defenders just holding their angles, doing really well. Warden getting some value, and Danny getting the shotgun onto double tap, removing that Ying issue. So once again, Georgia seems like they're on the back foot of this round. Seems Plush Rush is going to open up that vault wall and get onto site, but once he gave away his position, that puts him at a disadvantage as both members of Boise State are immediately looking towards that door. 10 seconds remaining for University of Georgia. If they don't push onto the site, they are going to lose this round as one member pushes on and gets taken out by Juko, and the final member removed by Ultraset.
We've definitely got a game on our hands there, on now, 4-4, and especially how we've seen a lot, the eliminations going back and forth. It's almost just kind of in each individual round and in the game score overall, and it's been very even between these two.
Yeah, this has been a great matchup so far, still even countering each other left and right, and it seems Georgia just ran out of time in that final round, so if they had more time, they probably could have pulled it out for sure, even being down one member to Boise's 3-2. So I'm curious to see how they decide to change it up, with Boise State now going with a Maestro Bandit, keeping the Jaeger Pulse Mozzie. And it seems University of Georgia is going to go the same team composition as well, as they think they can pull it off as it worked for them in the first round. But it looks like we're going to get a 6 pick for Maestro to clash my arch enemy. So I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Well, if you're going to have an arch enemy, then you've also got to have someone, one particular pick that you admire the most or like to see the most. Which one in particular, like whether it's the good choice or not, if you see it picked, you're like, okay, I'm going to enjoy the next few minutes a lot more because this is my favorite one.
Personally, for me, on defenders, I would have to say it's either Caveira or Mew. For me personally, I love playing Caveira just because if you down a person, you can then interrogate them and reveal the position of the enemy team wherever they are for a certain amount of seconds. It just tracks them. So it's just a ton of fun of just like, all right, I'm sitting in this corner. They walk past me. I get the interro. And as well as for the mute, you can just completely clear an area of drones. And I always sit around with a shotgun. And so if they turn a corner, you just blow them away at that point. So I have a lot of fun personally doing that. And we have seen the mute come out, but he did not use the shotgun. But we saw Danny play the Warden with shotgun, which I was very happy to see, as Warden is so very rarely played against any team because you never know if they have a Ying. But University of Georgia running this Ying has gotten value, but now as Boise ran that Warden, I think they don't really fear it anymore. But we do see the Clash come out, so I'm curious how this back-to-back happens with both Clash and Ying. Things going slow and methodical for the first minute or two. Because once we hit that minute, 45-second marker, things are definitely going to pick up with back-to-back kills, as we can always expect, as they have in the past. See a little bit of drone fun there.
The little friend.
Everybody loves a drone. Except for Twitch. She modified hers. Hers can't jump.
A bomb has been located.
Well, what's the point if it can't jump? What's the point if it can't jump?
It has a taser attached to it. So it can destroy cameras and destroy equipment to it. Yeah. We see Danny get a double elimination onto University of Georgia, but then we see Fox picked off by Plush Rush. Danny getting a lot of value on that pulse as he's scouting out members of Georgia through the floor with his heartbeat sensor.
Where I get the feeling whether you play Rainbow Six or not, just the idea of having a drone with a taser attached to it, you explain that to anybody, and they're going to go, oh, okay, I can see the reason.
Yeah, it used to deal 10 damage per hit, but now it only deals 1 damage. So usually when you're being chased down by people, you always try to get the flick taser shot off just to annoy them, just be like, hey, you're going to kill my drone, I'm going to take away your perfect 100 health down to 99. It's always a fun little thing to do of cat and mouse, but now the mouse has a taser. Here we see Georgia actually go on their back foot a little bit, take things a lot slower, try to maybe regroup, as the members of Boise State are now kind of commanding the map. But we see DeFox take out Danny on the first floor, removing that vision that they've had in the past with that heartbeat sensor. So now evening up the teams 3-3. Like you said earlier, it's definitely been back-to-back eliminations for both teams, being a very close game. See Double Tap run around, try to go to first floor as they push through the other side on red stairs. Sherp is then immediately noticed that they broke through that wall.
15 seconds to go.
Curious to see what Georgia begins to do as they only have 10 seconds
10
remaining.
seconds to go.
Not knowing Sherp's even there, gets the pick onto Gridlock. He's holding off the door. University of Georgia has no time. He gets another one onto Double Tap and knifes the final one. Sherp holding off the site and getting the round for his team as they just once again ran out of time, panicked, and had to push on the site and just lost.
Well, I know I asked the question to you just at the start of last round about a favorite operator to watch just in watching these matches, but that's also a question that I'll toss to Twitch chat right now, seeing as we've had a couple people just actively discussing the choices for each team. That's a great question that I want to know your opinions on. Which operator do you like, seeing whether you think it's a great pick or not? At least you can say, okay, this is going to be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. So I said my defenders were Caveira and Mute. So for attackers, Ying is definitely high risk, high reward as she can blind her own teammates and just lead to a lot of chaos. I love watching a good blitz because he just charges in and does a whole lot of memes, both flashbanging and meleeing people, because he can full sprint with his shield up. It is quite a lot of fun. So I'd have to go with those two for sure. I'm curious to see what Twitch chat comes up. Has there been anybody you've enjoyed seeing so far?
Attackers need to locate
You
and
know,
defuse as many bombs as they can.
Just kind of due to more of my cynical personality, I suppose. It's just, as soon as I saw Monty just standing in the doorway, you know, almost just standing there in a game that's so split second. I don't know, maybe it's something where it's like, just on the pure visual style alone, of just turning a corner and seeing just a guy with a big shield standing in the door and just turning around and walking the other way. That's just what's been entertaining for me.
10 seconds to go.
Just you don't get to come through this doorway to go around.
5 seconds to insertion.
All right, and we'll see Boise State actually defending
Attackers are moving
the
out to
kitchen
locate a
now,
bomb and defuse
changing
it.
it up. Maybe they'll get the C4 through the floor or through the walls. University of Georgia did last time they were defending this site. And we'll see them go back to the Warden as well to counter that Ying as she has been persistent for this Georgia attack. We're also going to see the Maestro come out as well as both the Maestro, which I already said, and the Jaeger and Valkyrie and Legion. So it looks like they're definitely trying to go for a more vision-heavy hold with a little bit of traps here and there. And University of Georgia going to go pretty much the same attack and force that we've seen in the past. Just Hibana maybe swapped out for that Sludge. Sludge, IQ, Thermite and Gridlock being popular picks on both teams as they've been quite even getting value from both of them. Legion taking a little bit of poke as they spot the IQ, getting her down to half health as she is in the bathroom pushing out from where they entered. It looks like Sherb's also going to be watching there, which she does not know he is there. Curious to see how this plays out between those three. As it's a 2v1. You see them droning out.
Visual on the target. Second floor.
And one pushing Sherb from his opposite end. Fox does end up going down as she pushed outside of the bathroom, getting him right in the back. We see Sherb abandon the second floor and just run to site as the remaining members of Boise just are hunkering down.
Breach charge up. RED active. Leaving perimeter.
And we're going to see some friendly fire mishap happen on University of Georgia side
Bomb has
as
been located.
D-Fox will end up shooting the Ying in the back of the head as they're just having some little mishaps over there. So now it's all evened up once again.
Well, I'm sure the Broncos are going to take what they can get.
You definitely should. Whenever mishaps happen, you got to capitalize on it. But sadly, we're going to see Juco fall to Ghost in a Jar in rotation. So I'm curious to see how Boise State plans to come back from this, unless Georgia once again is going to TK a member. As we saw in last week's stream, it happened quite a bit with the constant TKing of Sherb, Juco, and Fox. But we're going to see Sherb get a pick onto the Plush Rush, and then Ultracent picking off Snackery as well, making it a 3v2 with the remaining members of Georgia being so low. Danny picking off DeFox, leaving it all down to Ghost in a Jar to get a triple here.
5 seconds left.
He does manage to pick off Danny, and he will also pick off
Operators
Maestro,
have
but
run
just
out of
down
time.
him. He does not have Diffuser, so he cannot get it off, which means Boise State takes the round, making it 6-4.
Well, just a quick update on that question I asked earlier. We have Goodname76 saying his favorites to see are probably Pulse and Cav, Yin, and maybe Blackbeard. After that, Hobby Coyote recommended Chunky. And Nickelbit said he really doesn't necessarily have a favorite. He just likes seeing people pull off the picks, whatever picks they have.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Can definitely understand the Pulse and Cav pick for sure. I said Cav as well. It's always fun to just see the roamers get some value once in a while. As we see Danny do that left and right and center so far. And we've seen members of University of Georgia do that as well with the double C4 kill through the floor or through the top of the wall. I don't remember. We did not see it happen. But it looks like Boise State's going to change up just a little bit with a Cade now. And we're going to see Georgia staying with their exact same team, just changing that sledge out for a buck now. Curious to see if
Attackers
they'll
need to
be able
locate
to
and defuse
take the
as
round,
many
as it is
bombs as
match
they
point for Boise State on this map. It's come down to this for University of Georgia. Got to pull out a win here if they want to be able to win.
And just another thanks to everyone in the Twitch chat for answering that question and just engaging with this stream in general. We all appreciate your support. And if you want to support Boise State Esports further, you can either subscribe via Twitch Prime subscription. If you're interested in subscribing, you can type an !free sub in the chat to find out more about that. Or you can just follow, get alerts on whenever we're streaming. And if you like Rainbow Six, it's definitely a game that we've been streaming a lot more lately as this semester has been going on. So you're always going to want to stay tuned for that.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
For sure. And here we will see the attackers begin to push onto the building as it looks like they're going to go for the same play as they did last time through the second floor master bedroom, as it worked well for them last time. No shield though, so they can't do the slow methodical play that we've seen with the Monty just holding off a whole wall, or whole door that is. It looks like members of Boise State aren't even roaming, just Sherb is just barely outside of sight, but no roamers. They're going to have very little vision as the members of University of Georgia just take over that half of the map. Fox will be first floor though,
Bomb located
looking to
by
see if they
attackers.
decide to drop down there, get a quick pick for his team.
Track sting is active.
Beginning of the match always quite slow here. But once we hit that minute marker, things will definitely pick up as we see members of Boise State just holding their angles. Danny with a shotgun against that wall. Curious to see if he'll be able to blow someone away with that. Always love to see it. We'll see DeFox taking a lot of shots into Juco, taking him down just above quarter HP there. And DeFox going down a quarter. So curious to see how they plan to attack this, as no members of Boise State have decided to push out other than Fox. Fox does manage to scout at least one member and take out the IQ Leaving it down to Buck, I believe, who is the other one down there. Fox making things +1 on his team.
Release track stand.
Danny just sitting at the door, listening and waiting. I really hope he is able to get at least one pick with that shotgun. Nothing's better than seeing that ragdoll going flying across the room.
Yeah, definitely a calm before the storm, as Boise State is just 4 more eliminations away from winning this whole thing.
Yeah, they were able to...
Plants engaged!
Sadly, actually, they were just taking out 2 members by both Ghost in a Jar and Plush Rush, I believe. So, Boise State immediately on the back foot as they are now a 3v4 situation. But Danny does finally get that shotgun as he was holding that door the whole time. Taking out Double Tap.
The attacker's bomb
Evening it
diffuser
up
has
once
been
again, but
dropped.
Plush Rush is just going to be taken out by Juco. This match has been very even of just back and forth, back and forth.
Well, less than 20 seconds left now.
15 seconds to go.
Filter engaged.
Yeah, this definitely means
Attackers
Georgia
protect
has
the bomb
to
diffuser.
go on
10
aggressive
seconds remaining.
very quickly as Juco is then taken out.
Oh,
Ghost in a Jar, but Danny just holding that door away with the shotgun, blows him away.
well, that's going to be a great performance by the Broncos, able to take the whole match there, 7-4. What do you think was the biggest strength that the Broncos had that allowed them to pull out the victory overall?
It was definitely their patience and holding their angles. They did not peak as we've seen in the past from other teams. They just kept their advantage. They knew, hey, if we want to pull out this win, we're going to have to play slow, methodically. Only Fox was roaming, not Danny and Fox or one other person. They definitely learned how Georgia attacked. They definitely took control of the map and was just pushed onto site, whereas Boise State was just like, all right, we're going to adapt to this by only being on site. Boise State did very well in that first map.
We do see Goodname76 also in Twitch chat saying he loves those ragdoll shotgun kills.
You ready?
Ragdoll
All
is
right.
always fun,
I think
no
we're ready
matter
then.
what game you're playing.
Ready. Gamer time. Good luck. Have chill.
We also see Hoppy Coyote with a GG in chat as well, and thank you once again to you two, all of you in Twitch chat, for being active and enjoying the show that we're putting on here. So, Bear, as I surmise based on the last match we saw, this is going to be best 2 out of 3, correct?
Yes.
Best 2 out of
See
3.
then.
So, what do you
Ready?
think
All right.
necessarily is going through Georgia's mind right now? You know, they've got this downtime between matches. They know they've got to pull off. I mean, it sounds a little bit weird saying in a best of 3, but they would have to pull off a reverse sweep of sorts from here on out to be able to take this. So, what's necessarily going through Georgia's mind right now?
So it would definitely be, we know how they're going to attack, we know how they're going to defend. We've seen it when they're like right on match point, they're going to hold site, so we just have control of the map. And how do they begin to play around that? We do see Boise State ban their typical Thatcher ban here. And the map is going to be Consulate? No. I should know this map name by heart, and I don't. Border. I'm a terrible person. I should know that. But we are going to see the Monty ban here, so it looks like Georgia did learn from that Monty of just like, we're not going to deal with him, he's gone.
So no more standing in the door. I'm sad.
That will be possible with the Clash if they don't ban her on defense, but no one likes looking at Clash, so hopefully she's banned. That's all I can hope for. But they are going to ban that Mira, as she is very strong on these border defensive sites, and it looks like he's going to be defending as well first. So I'm curious if they decide to ban a defender they don't use or someone who they don't want to go up against.
Well, 3 seconds left. We're going to find out right now.
It's going to be the Echo. Yep. He's very strong, can disrupt that diffuser plant. Even with an IQ, he's still a pain in the butt.
And you are watching Boise State versus University of Georgia in this Rainbow Six Siege match here on the Boise State esports team. It is the Broncos versus the Bulldogs tonight in Rainbow Six. We're glad you all can join us. All over 240 watchers right now on Twitch. We appreciate every one of you tuning in. And I appreciate Bear here helping be the roadmap throughout the whole night tonight. And it has been a pretty good night for the Broncos thus far, picking up their first win in the first game and well on their way to maybe pulling out a victory in the second.
Yeah, it's been a very close match back to back, and I appreciate you being here, being the shoutcaster, because I'm still quite new to this. It's my third stream. As much as I know Siege, I don't know anything else. So thank you.
Well, hey, no, it's great also, you know, it's not just in terms of like, you know, shouting and getting excited, although it is easy, you know, when you're in a very fast-paced game, but it's also nice to have kind of the strategist on the desk, I suppose, as well, you know, talking about all the strategy. You know, I think of Glovely, who does League of Legends. You know, he's probably been kind of one of the most chill casters we've had, and it's great because, you know, he's always there to kind of take it back and look big picture at what's going on, and I think that's a very great role to have, and you're fulfilling that role quite well. But the role that I want to see perform the best is Boise State's role in pulling out the victory.
Yeah, and they should definitely be able to do that on this border map as they went to the second floor site with these defenders of both the Wamai and Jaeger. Super just anti-nade composition here, as well as the Mozzie, Doc, and Cade. So I really hope to see Sherp here do a run out with this Doc and possibly get a pick or two for his team. As we saw him at the very first match we ever streamed, he got a quad with that. So possibly he's able to take Georgia off their footing and just get that pick. But we're going to see Georgia pushing with the Capitao, Nomad, IQ, Thermite, and Ying. As they push onto that balcony, we did see Sherb look for it, but he's sadly looking to the wrong spawn as they went east entrance rather than the main road. You see Ultrasen looking through the floor as well as they're holding across site. We see Danny on first floor, right by the one of the main doors, holding the big open area and stairs as well. We see Juko right on top of the cabinet, trying to get a pick through that little hole above where the reinforcements are. University of Georgia being quite slow here, droning out where they can and opening up that wall.
We have a prediction in Twitch chat about who's going to get the first elimination. They're saying Danny, so we're going to have to see in the next few seconds, next few moments, whether someone has a bit of a psychic edge in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, it looks like at this moment Fox, who's looking towards most of the team of Georgia, might be able to get the first elimination or be the first eliminated. He does get a lot of damage onto that Nomad, taking her to just above quarter HP, but he is then eliminated by Snackery on that IQ. And then Juko is then quickly eliminated as well by DeFox on that Nomad. So sadly, Danny was not able to get that first elimination, but he might be able to be the first one to get elimination for his team.
Yeah. Let's not lose hope yet, okay? The prediction can still come
possible.
through. Yeah,
it's still possible.
I would still be impressed.
For sure. As we see Sherp looking towards where the enemy team is pushing through, and Ultracent taking a little pre-fire shots onto them as well. And we see Danny, first kill for the team, but then he's immediately picked off by DeFox, sadly. So quick trade there, leaving it a 2v4 situation as the members of University of Georgia just taking over the site, it seems.
But hey,
But we do see Sherb able to get a pick for his team.
But hey, still, prediction came true. All right, Coyote in the chat right now. You're calling. What are you calling next? Let us know.
Sherb already did get the second kill for Boise State, so I'm curious to see what Twitch chat predicts, because as we all know, Twitch is always right. But Sherb gets a double, then onto that Nomad, who is already so low, but we're going to see Snackery go for the plant, as well as Ying is just absolutely blinding Ultracent with her cadences as they get the plant off, putting Boise State into gear as they have to push onto site, remove the final member. Sherb removing Snackery, leaving everything down to Ghost in a Jar as Ying. with very little health and no stims remaining as Doc. So, we'll see if they're
Attackers need
able to get the
protect
diffuser.
Position.
I was just saying, committing to the defuse as
Defender is approaching a kill
Sherb
zone.
was able
Bomb
to
diffuser disabled
eliminate
by
that
defenders.
Ying, getting
Defenders
the
win.
round to Boise State. Sherb getting a quad that round.
Yeah, definitely great job to Sherb. If we had a player of the game tonight, I would certainly nominate that. Definitely impressive.
Yeah, he did very well in the first match against Simmons, so I'm not surprised that he's doing very well against Georgia as well. He's been roaming a lot more lately, and whenever he's on that dock, a lot of good things come out of it.
Well, I mean, speak of him and he shows up. There's Doc right there.
But sadly, Fox is taking over that dock role, and we're going to see Sherb onto that Jaeger now. Doc just being the doctor.
Okay, I don't know what it is about this round, but it's like whether it's in Twitch chat or you right here, you just say a name and all of a sudden it comes true. So there's something in the air tonight. I don't know what it is, but something strange is going on.
That's how you know it's going to be a good match, right?
Attackers need to
Yeah,
locate
definitely.
and defuse bombs.
Hopefully nothing strange going on in the neighborhood, because we don't got no Ghostbusters to call today. But we do see Boise State decide to pick the main entrance first floor bomb site, both in servers and that little side room. So I'm curious to see what they decide to change up as they decide to go with the smoke this time. And sure, no longer on that dock, but it looks like he's still going to be roaming with that Jaeger though, as he is reinforcing that second floor as well as the hatch. We're going to see Georgia change it up as well, going Hibana now and Zofia rather than and Sludge. They're changing it up 3 ops this time, staying with that Nobita and Capitao though.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Sledge. Sorry. Speaking too fast for my own good.
Yeah, I've been hearing you say sludge a good number of times, and I'm wondering, I know that there are some, nicknames or pseudonyms for some of these operators, but man, someone must have really hated him when he was being named. You know what I mean? Oh, what a cute little baby. Let's name him Sludge.
Yeah, sadly no. Whenever I do play the game though, I always say things too fast, so instead of Vigil, I call him Virgil, because I'm just weird like that. So people are like, who are you talking about? I'm like, that guy. So that is definitely just something of my own fault of, I play the game, he's Sledge. I don't know. He's the guy with the hammer who does the thing,
Those are the call-outs that truly win games. That guy.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the R6 team, right? But we do see Defox being the first to be eliminated in this round, but then Juko immediately turned around and eliminated by that Sledge. Trying to say it more correctly now. Trying to be more professional, but we'll get there someday.
Hey, but it's funnier a sludge. You can't deny the entertainment value.
That's what I'm going
Located
for,
by
right? I'm the
attackers.
entertainer. I'm not the strategist who's supposed to know all the names correctly, right? Right? We do see Sherb there holding right in between the hatch and that top of the server, and he does manage to get the headshot onto Snackery, who was playing that op, who was that guy who I'm not going to name. So it is now +1 for Boise State, as all the remaining members are on the first floor holding site, and all members of Georgia are second floor trying to find how they're going to attack the site and win the round. Slow and steady wins the race, hopefully, as we see it comes down to the last 50 seconds of the round. Georgia's going to have to start making some moves soon if they hope to take the round, as Fox watching that big open area stairs, waiting for them to rotate out, and so is Ultrascent watching stairs and main door.
Yeah.
Definitely letting things come to the wire.
Yeah, it definitely seems in a position from where Boise State is in, where the clock can be your ally, forcing the other team to
Defender
move
is
in.
approaching a kill zone.
Although,
Yeah, we do see Georgia get a quick double kill onto Boise State,
Defenders have
but
located
Danny
the
then does get revenge and runs out onto the members of Georgia. Now coming down to a 2v1 situation with Ghost in a Jar having to defend Diffuser, and both Fox and Danny having to try to find a way to get to it without being picked off. Danny's trying to clear out second floor where he is, and Fox having to go for the Diffuser. Danny trying to find this Zofia wherever she may be. And he does get it, so it looks like Boise State will manage to take the round.
Bomb defusing attempt failed. Defenders win.
Very fast-paced as it came down to the last 30 seconds. We see the double and then another double from Danny. Danny clutching out that round, but not getting a quad just like Sherb did in the previous one.
Well, you are watching Collegiate Rainbow Six Siege. How does it necessarily feel for you, Bear, being able to finally see this game be broadcast? Because our game lineup, has changed and is going to continue to change throughout the years. But what's it been like to finally see this be broadcast on the stream?
It's been great. It's something I've definitely been voicing for. I play the game and I love it. I would love to get better and actually play it competitively someday, but for the meantime, I'm more than happy to cast it here. We've lost some really great games like Heroes of the Storm in the past, but we get to fill them with Rainbow Six Siege in the meantime. We've also had the Hearthstone, Overwatch, and League be streaming more. So it's been a ton of fun to see.
Yeah, it really is. There are rumblings currently going on right now, of it'll be interesting to see over the summer whether, games like Valorant will be on the stream, in the fall semester if it gets that much of a following. It's just always interesting to see what is new and how this stream will continue to change as the years go on. And definitely from the action we've been seeing in this game thus far, I'm really happy as well to see Rainbow Six finally get its time in the spotlight here on Boise State stream.
Yeah, our Boise State Rainbow Six team has been doing very well as they were the top pick of their league for the Open Division. So they've been definitely winning back-to-back. And as a person who's played with them firsthand, I know they are very good at what they do. So I'm very happy that we finally get to showcase that and be like, hey, here's one more game that Boise State just dominates at. We do see they go for the first floor site, but they're reinforcing all above it as they hope to get a ton of value through the floor when Georgia attacks. And it looks like Georgia's going to stay the same composition, just swapping out that Sophia for the Ying. That's worked out so well for them in the past. But we are going to see Boise also go for the Warden to counter her, as they know that Ying has been a favorite of Georgia. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. We also see Boise swapping over to the castle. Boise State trying to hold out the second floor site when bombs are on the first floor. So if Georgia manages to get the diffuser off, this is going to put Boise in a tight spot.
Well, we definitely saw Danny last round, or last game, do pretty good on the Warden. So someone in the Twitch chat has been saying Danny's been doing work for Boise State, so he's definitely been pulling his weight.
Yeah, Danny always has. We've seen that in past streams that Danny's almost always the MVP, as he's been the roamer, the playmaker. He gets a lot of picks or a lot of information early on for his team. At the same time, we see Sherb get the first elimination of the round onto Plush Rush, onto that Hibana, so that removes Georgia's hard breaching capabilities. So Sherb also getting a ton of value, but then he is then picked off by Snackery. So a lot of members of Boise State getting a lot of key plays here, with Sherb managing to remove at least a quarter HP from Snackery before he is taken away. We are going to see Ultrascent lose most of his health from that breaching charge and then taken out by DeFox, who is then taken back out by Fox. Not confusing statement. But we see two members of Boise State go down, Danny and Juco, but then Fox gets another one onto Snackery. Back-to-back eliminations for both teams.
Oh,
as Fox tries to make a rotation and gets caught out. Georgia playing very well there in all the chaos, knowing where he was and how to win the match, or win the round.
all right.
DeFox killing DeFox was very confusing.
I imagine that would be. But Georgia now on the board, 2-1 going into round 4. Boise State still on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like Boise State's going to go with that Wamai because that Jaeger was just not getting rid of just enough of those grenades that seems Georgia was just thrown out left and right. And Ultrasen kind of had a misplay there as he was standing right in front of the window as they blew it open, taking 3/4 HP damage from that, not killing him, luckily. So hopefully Boise State learned from that mistake and won't stand next to windows. So you do see here, it looks like Georgia's going to go for the same composition they just ran, just swapping out the Hibana for a Thermite, as well as Boise State going towards that smoke instead of Legion as well. No Warden this time either, so maybe they don't fear the Ying as much as they have in the
Bomb
past.
being defused by attackers.
And they're going to change sites as well to that second story site. Even though they defended second story last round, it did not pay off for them. Curious to see what both teams decide to change up, as University of Georgia lost this attacking site last time Boise defended it. I'm curious what they plan to change up, as well as Boise planning to change up as they lost last round's defense. A lot of interesting plays could come out of this team here.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds to insertion.
So what do you see as Georgia's main route to, first equalize the match and then get in the lead? You're the coach for Georgia now. What do you recommend?
They've been pushing that balcony constantly, and they have finally gotten the victory out of it last round. Because Boise State was also defending that room, they were all in there, and they were just quickly picked off by the members of Georgia. So my advice would be go in from the communication swivel room, which is, if you're looking down on the site, it's like the bottom left corner. It's a giant big blue room. I would take control of that area because that is directly across from where one of the bombs is, which I believe is A bomb. So if you take control of that corner of the map, that gives you a lot of versatility to either go through the building or quickly outside through a hallway to the bomb site. That'd be my advice for Georgia, but it looks like they're still gonna push through that balcony area onto stairs as they have in the past. That worked out well for them as well. So I'm curious to see how Boise plans to defend against it, with JUCO in that exact room being scouted out by plenty of drones that Georgia has been throwing at him.
Drone ready.
We're going to see Danny here sitting right outside the window with his shotgun, watching the member of Georgia who is directly outside of it, droning. We're going to see JUCO actually picked off after he throws out his Wamai magnet. And we're going to see Fox sadly mess up that C4 just above the reinforcement as he forgot to get rid of that environment right above it. But we're going to see Danny cover his butt and throw some smoke, blocking off the area for his teammate. And we're going to see Sherb try to run around and get a pick or two move through the hallway, but he is quickly taken down to half health. Fox is going to get a pick onto Snackery, with DeFox being at under a quarter HP. Fox being under a lot of pressure, taking a little bit more poke damage as well. But Ultrasen's going to end up getting a headshot onto Double Tap, removing that Capital, with Ying just outside that window and Danny waiting for her.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
But Fox is going to get picked off when he tries to push out. Danny is going to end up picking off that Ying, and Ultrasen is also going to end up picking up another member of Georgia, leaving it a 3v1 with DeFox only having less than a quarter HP. Boise doing really well on this defense. And Ultrasen getting the final kill through a bullet hole.
I think, Bear, that you really hit on something that was almost profound in the way when we were talking about that C4 mishap, but his teammate rushing in, you said, kind of covers. But that's really the true difference between having a great team and a horrible team. Normally when you're solo queuing and get stuck with a horrible team, having teammates who either cover for the mistakes you make, or they're having your back, or having a team that will make you know how terrible you are and how you should never play this game again because you made one mistake.
We're not playing League here, thankfully, so we don't have to deal with that. But yeah, that definitely comes down to the key communication that Boise State has of just, hey, I messed up my C4, they're going to start pushing me. So Danny quickly turns around, throws a smoke trap, and just blocks off that door for the next 10, 20 seconds, however as long smokes last. Just really saving Fox there, even though he did end up running out trying to get the pick onto that thermite before he blew open that wall and getting picked off. Well, it looks like Boise's going to go back to the first floor site right outside main, as they did win it last time with the lucky quad kill from Danny, I believe. Or was it the triple? I don't remember. But it looks like they're going to stay the same team on position with just the Cade now instead of the Mozzie from last round, as well as a Legion. And it looks like Georgia's going to go with the Zofia, but keep everything else the same with the Thermite swapping back to Hibana.
10 seconds left before insertion.
So, just a slight op changes. Curious to see if they will get value here or not, as they've been picked off so quickly by Boise State
Attackers are
in the
moving out
past.
to locate a bomb and defuse it.
See the members of Georgia coming from the East Valley entrance, as well as the remaining two probably coming from the entrance to our south from the camera. Very few people spawn main road, that is so commonly peeked out from second floor. Looks like Ultrasense just gonna keep shooting at the wall, try to open it up, and we see Danny on the second floor holding his shield, maybe trying to block a bullet or two with it. And the Nomad will get scouted out on the stairway at the end of the hallway, giving Boise State just that much little more information on what Georgia's plan might be.
Well, it's always nice to get that early scouting out, be able to pick out a member of the other team before any eliminations come through.
Yeah, nice to know who you're up against, even though they've been running that Nomad Capital this entire time, who have gotten value for their team as well. We see Fox watching the stairs. Danny does end up getting picked off on the second floor by Ghost in a Jar. So, see if BSU is able to quickly come back from that -1 to even up the game. But it looks like they're actually going to go down to -2 as Sherb is picked off by DeFox on that Nomad, who's been getting value. Seems all match.
And Boise State not even being able to trade a little bit of damage. Well, I guess you could say to Fox, I'm actually looking a little closer. There's a little bit of a chip off of his health, but mostly for Georgia,
Yeah.
still looking good.
Yeah, Georgia's doing very well, just opening up that ceiling, making Boise State having to panic move left and right. Ultrasen tries to go for the C4 through the floor, but is unable to without any information on where they are above them. And I'm curious to see how Boise State's going to end up defending this, as University of Georgia has all 5 members remaining and have all the vision on the site below
Defender
them.
has left the designated staging area.
We're going to see Ultrasen actually go for the rotation around and get a pick onto the member of Georgia, but is then taken out as he is spotted from being outside. All comes down to Fox versus the remaining 4 members, but he is taken out by DeFox. Still not confusing. And University of Georgia takes the round. DeFox
really
getting
true-
a lot of value for his team.
Yeah, so really true to form. Georgia really closing the gap. Might be able to tie it up in this next round, just like we've been seeing all this match from Georgia. Neither team really being able to get that huge of a lead on the other before the gap is closed.
Yeah, Georgia seems to really just take control as soon as they got that first pick. They took control of that second story and just started opening up the roof, making Boise State members panic as they were on that first floor site, and then just getting picked apart one by one by University of Georgia, bringing the match to 3-2.
So I asked in one of the previous rounds, saying you're the coach of Georgia, give them some advice. Now I'm going to say you're the coach of Boise State. What advice do you give them?
Maybe have more than one roamer on the second story if you're going to hold it. Danny was watching that one specific angle and just got picked off from behind, it seemed. So you definitely want someone else to be able to hold that high
Attackers have
ground.
located a bomb.
As we all know from episode 3, if you don't hold the high ground, you're definitely going to lose. And as we can see, that is evident in both the movie and this match. We're going to see actually 3 of the members of Boise State go to the second floor immediately and begin to reinforce that area.
Attackers have
We see
discovered
Danny
the
even
location
swap
of
off the
bomb.
smoke to an Ella, and Ultrasense swap to the Clash, with University of Georgia changing nothing.
We have some appreciation in the Twitch chat for the number of elite skins that Danny appears to be owning.
Yes, he has played a little bit too
5
much,
seconds to
so
insertion.
gotta own them all.
It's one of those things where someone asks you, how many hours have you played? And you say, an amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sadly, it's an amount. More than me, that's for sure. I may have owned the game from day one, but I'm still not that crazy. And here we do see the members of University of Georgia take to the second floor as they did last round, taking command, and Danny's still on the first floor, watching out in case they decide to push through the door to his right. And we see Ultraset on that clash, watching out for them as he's immediately droned out, so they know he's there.
I thought that was a bug crawling across the floor at first.
I mean, a drone's a type of ant, which is a bug, so yeah, well, let's go with that.
Well, you're getting bugged, so you know what I mean, in a form. So
it's definitely annoying. Like, hey, I'm just spotted left and right, and it's just like, you know, I'm here. I'm not gonna move, so you can stop. They're just wasting their drones, throwing them at this clash.
My device is ready.
You see, Georgia taking it quite slow this round, with Snackery already going down to close to half HP. Sharp getting grenaded out with Ultrasen as they begin to hide in this room, and it looks like they're going to go down through the hatch. Sharp holding right on top of this server, waiting to see what the members of Georgia decide to do. With Fox slowly sneaking up the stairs and a member of Georgia not even looking at him. His tensions run high.
the tension is enough to cut with a knife.
Yeah, it's all about the listening game. Game of sounds. Who can listen to whose footsteps better and predict where you're gonna go? And with Snackery already being at half HP, that definitely puts him on the back foot, but Fox, once again, killing the other Fox, establishing he's the better Fox, but Danny quickly gonna get a double headshot onto University Georgia.
Well, it's not necessarily a question of who's the better Fox, it's a question of do either of the Foxes match up to the power that is Danny?
And that is always going to be the question, even though most of us are ending up going to pray to Danny, as he gets a third headshot onto Ghost in a Jar. Will this be an ace of only headshots for Danny this round?
I'm not done with you.
As Ultrasen manages to point out where one of the members are, we're going to see
Hat trick!
the hat trick comes out with Danny on Ella.
15 seconds remaining.
As both members of University of Georgia just drop down right in front of Ultrasen. Ultrasen getting the double, just spraying in the back, taking out both members, removing that ace from Danny, and winning the round.
A triple and a double, a full house from Boise State. That's a full house play, I'd like to say.
Played well by both members of Boise State. Sadly, Georgia just ran out of time and out of team members to push that site, and just ended up losing that round, bringing it 4-2.
Oh, look, another elite skin coming through for Danny.
Another 3 of them, yeah. He definitely likes playing those ops where he has them, because they're the roamers, and that's what he's best with. Looks like they are on the attack now as well, as we swap sides. We wait to see what Ultrasen picks. Looks like it's going to be the Capital. Possible 6th pick here. Doesn't look like we're going to see it, though. Alright, and it looks like University of Georgia is going to go for second floor armory lockers, which we've seen very popularly. And Ultrasen's actually going to 6th pick into the Ying. Try to show University of Georgia how it's done on this bomb site.
Yeah, sometimes we do see that in these types of games. Just in anything you can do, I can do better sort of thing.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
That
any
never
bombs
happens in
they can.
Overwatch. Here we see members of Boise State begin to set up their... Did we not switch? No, we did. I'm still used to Boise defending. Wow, I'm behind. Alright, we see Georgia begin to set up on the second story site. Slowly bringing it together. Too many Foxes in this match, driving me crazy.
And again, that's not to purposely disparage either of the Foxes for either team. They've been doing a great job.
Oh yeah, they've been both doing very well for the teams. Fox getting a ton of information and lasting very long, and DeFox getting a ton of value for his team. Pick left, right, and center with him having 7 and 1. right now and 5 assists, doing very well for their team. It's just confusing when one kills the other and you're just like, who's Fox who? Alright, we'll see Danny take over the first floor slow and steady, as well as Sherb beginning to scout out where possible members of Georgia are, as well as that Valkyrie who ends up hiding on the opposite end of the first floor from those 2 members of Boise State. You see Fox trying to get a pick through the window, just spraying at a wall. Hopefully a member of Georgia was there.
That's my favorite strategy. Spray at the wall and hope something happens. Just, I don't care what game I'm playing.
Spray and pray, man.
Spray and pray, the tried and true meta that has been with us since the dawn of time.
It works. Sometimes you just got to pull out your LMG with 150 rounds and not let go of the trigger until you get a pick. But it looks like Danny's going to get the first pick of the round with another headshot onto double tap, removing their one roamer on first floor, it seemed. But he is also going to be down to a quarter HP.
Let me tell you, Bear, forget the LMG. You have not sprayed and prayed until you've done it with a Gatling gun. That's all I'm going to say.
When they come out with enough with the Gatling gun, I'll call you up and we can start spraying and praying through maps. How about that?
That would be great.
We do have Tachanka though, and he does have a mounted LMG, so that's probably the closest you're going to get. But we do see DeFox end up taking out Danny, as well as Bandit tricking, or Cade tricking out that thermite charge, leaving him with none remaining, so they have no hard breaches remaining. See, Fox still holding out his window angle, seeing if he can get a possible pick for his team, as it is an even 4-4 with Snackery once again being a little bit over half HP. Junko just missing probably about 5 HP as well, probably from running to that electric wall. Trying to drown out, seeing if anyone's in the hallway, with Ultrascent doing the same.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
He did not see that Mozzie behind the desk and gets taken out, putting them 3-4. Georgia holding this Boise attack very well.
Attackers covered the bomb diffuser.
Ultrascent takes a lot of poke through that smoke, but ends up getting the diffuser, trying to push onto site to get the diffuse off. See a thrower for Cadence in there. Try to get a flashbang onto a member of Georgia as she pushes into sight. And Sherb ends up getting the pick onto Snackery, evening up the teams. As now Ultrascent goes down using the last of his cadences.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Leaving it down to 5 seconds, 1v3, and it looks like Boise State running out of time, taken apart by Georgia's defense.
True to form, Georgia evens it up yet again. Boise State's still holding on to a narrow lead as we're going to be heading into round 8 now.
Yeah, I believe the score is now 4-3, so Boise State really just keeping the match even. So, same with Georgia, just an all-around great game by both teams, as we saw in the first map as well.
We have someone in Twitch chat asking, how do you try out for Boise State? I can tell you how you do that. Once again, you got to go to boisestate.edu/esports, and there you'll find out all the information that you need to know to come and try out to play with the Broncos. We usually make sure we get all new students coming in for tryouts when the fall semester starts. So after summer break, you'll definitely want to check in on that. Once again, that's esports.edu. No, it's boisestate.edu/esports. But hey, Boise State esports is so amazing anyway that sometimes all I can think of is esports. So
it's a good thing to think about. And we are going to see Danny actually 6-pick to that knock as well. So that's something new we have not seen yet. And Ultrascent's going to swap over to the Sledge. I'll get that right someday. And we're also going to see...
Wait, hold on, everyone. I need you to stop what you're doing here. Wait, listen. Danny is not using an elite skin. Someone in Twitch chat has just informed us, okay? So, if Boise State's fortunes turn completely around and they aren't able to pull out a victory here, I think we all know who's really at fault.
Calling out Danny, who's been kind of the back of his team for the longest time, with sure being a close second, but calling him out for not having an elite skin on Knock when one
Hey,
doesn't even exist.
I don't necessarily care about how I do, how good I do. I just want to look amazing doing it. You know what I mean?
I understand. He does have a skin for her, but it is not an elite skin as one does not exist just yet.
Oh, okay, that's more excusable.
Yeah. Only so many elite skins are in the game. We're still waiting for that Newsville Fio one to come out, but probably have to wait till next season. See, Boise State just trying to scout out, get into position to attack this first floor bomb site against Georgia. See, Georgia also pull out the castle here, as we did not see last round. As well as the Duck and Rook and Jaeger. Hopefully Juco does not lose both of his thermites so early on, removing that option from him. We're going to see Danny push right into sight, right next to a member of Georgia, as he's not looking directly at him. He gets an easy double pick onto the members of Georgia. But he is not able to get the third. But
you see, if he was using an elite skin, he would have gotten the triple.
Possibly skins to win. If you play League or Overwatch, you know that's the case. And we do see Olsen actually miss the rotation onto that Jaeger, but still 4-3 for Boise State.
Swapping mag.
Coming down to a minute 20.
You know, I don't
Slowly running
know.
out of time for Boise State.
I don't know if it's the best idea to yell at the top of your lungs, "I'm reloading, I'm swapping mags," as you're doing it. I heard that from the character. Based on the type of game this is, that doesn't seem like the best option.
Yeah, that is only team chat that you can hear. Enemy operators cannot hear what characters say in-game, thankfully, because if that were true, then games would go a lot quicker.
I'm being stealthy, I'm going in through the side entrance.
Yeah, that's one easy thing you could see with Nock, the character Danny was playing. Whenever she activates her gadget, she always says, "Oh, I'm going silent," or reducing noise or something like that. So if she did that every time you did that, it would be kind of counterintuitive. So I'm glad she doesn't. But we will see another elimination go to the side of Boise, taking out a member of Georgia, and they'll get the diffuser off as well. So now that's putting Georgia into a place of, we gotta push this team. And they do. They end up taking out member Ultrasen for Boise against Boise. So making a 2v2 as Fox has to pick up Juco, leaving 25 seconds remaining to get that diffuser. And it looks like Juco is going to finally get taken out by Ghost in a Jar, but then he's going to be taken out by Fox, leaving it to be a Fox v double tap situation. And it looks like he's going to get taken out by that hair jab going flying across and then riddled with bullets. Boise State playing very well, and Georgia playing a bit too aggressive there.
That was just a splat right there against the wall. I don't know.
Fun with her air jabs.
Alrighty. So round 9, as Boise State has a comfortable two-point lead right now. Question is, what's going to be picked?
I was just going to say, Boise State's 2 rounds away from winning the game, as they won the first map as well. So put some pressure onto Georgia to hold off their attacking. We're going to see a new op, Danny not having an elite skin again for Finka, as she doesn't even have one. But it looks like he's going to pick away, possibly to an elite skin after hearing us bashing him.
That's the true use of a 6-pick right there. That's what you want to truly use your 6-pick for. I don't have an elite skin. I gotta swap over.
Looks like he's just gonna go back to that knock. He did get a double with her, so he did get a ton of value for his team. So not gonna bat him for it too badly. You might, because skins win, but.
Here you are giving all the strategies and ins and outs of what's happening. Here I am going, well, he doesn't look cool enough. That's not going to work.
They're just roasting him for looks when it's clearly not about it at all.
we've
you
got
looking good doing it.
Well, we've got depth and shallowness, so balancing each other out.
Perfect. That's all we need. And it looks like members of Georgia are going to reinforce that second story right above the bomb site where they're defending, especially with those castle walls denying the easy infiltration from that knock that got so much value last round. As they're defending the exact same site they just lost, so hopefully they'll be able to change something up and get some value for their team. Danny watching out for that sneaky pick, waiting to see if members of Georgia are cheeky enough to try to pull it off. But he is going to end up droning it, it seems. Looking out for a possible roamer from Georgia. We'll see Ultrascent do the exact same thing for his team, possibly scout for Danny as he begins to infiltrate this bomb site / building. We'll see Fox possibly just AFK at spawn. We'll see Mozzie pick up a drone from his voice lines, and we're going to see Ultrascent also begin to push into the building. Danny, slow and steady, looking out for a possible roamer that may be at the end of the hallway. And we're going to see Double Tap get the first elimination of the round onto Sherb with a headshot, sadly, as he was peeking that door. We're going to see Danny hopefully try to push him and get the revenge pick onto him for it. We're going to see Juco try to push around his rear as well, but he is going to get picked off from the side, downing the diffuser as well, so that puts Boise State in a tough position to try to get that back so they can push this bomb site with only 1:20 remaining. Being a very close matchup.
It has been interesting seeing as how it's just been kind of 1 win, 1 loss for Boise State. 1 win, 1 loss. So if they weren't able to get it this time, it would continue that trend.
Yeah, Boise, like we said earlier in the first map, it's been a very close matchup between these two teams. It looks like Georgia has the upper hand as of right now, with 2 members of Boise State being down. Well, it looks like Fox is going to get the Mozzie down. But unless he is able to get one final bullet into him, his teammates might be able to pick him up. We're going to see Danny pushing the exact same spot where he was last time. Little does he know they are castled up, I believe, making it a little bit harder for him to push that site. Fox running into some of those lesions. We're going to see Ultrascent open up that bathroom door, possibly get a rotation into bomb site, but he ends up getting picked off by DeFox, who is watching that rotation site. And we do see Ghost in a Jar finally die with no teammate going to res, and we do see Danny and Fox then getting more picks, and we do see Danny then picked off by Plush Rush as they try to push bomb site, but with no diffuser, they don't have time to plant or eliminate the last member of University of Georgia. Boise State just running out of time there.
Now into round 10, double digits. And are we going to see the trend? Are we going to see the trend start up again for Danny? As shallow and superficial as I am, are we going to see that?
The trend of no elite skin? Possibly. That Knock Knock getting a ton of value that round as she did in the previous one. I'm curious if they will go back to that IQ to reveal position, or it looks like he's going to go Ash, so there's your elite skin. So with that prediction, means they'll win the round.
Hey, there we go. Yeah. All is well in the world again.
They have the cool skins for the win, so that means they win the round. Hopefully, because they did just lose the last one. Like you said earlier, they've been going back and forth, so theoretically, they should win. But it looks like Georgia's going to go for that second story defense site, which they did lose, which they have won and lost, so I'm curious to see how it plays out for them this time around.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
We're also going to see Sherb swap off and go to a Maverick, and Ultrasync going to a Lion instead of the Sludge, so some new ops on Boise State side, possibly changes it up and win them the round. As we're going to see University of Georgia also go with new ops for that Maestro instead of the Doc that they've been running, as well as the Cade and Valkyrie.
So a good amount of
maximized vision. Yeah.
Yeah, so a good amount of swaps then.
Definitely trying to change things up as things are coming closer down to the wire with it being now 5 to 4
seconds remaining.
on round 10.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
And now here comes Boise State.
Yep, from the East Valley entrance site, which is a very common spawn because it can almost not at all be spawn peaked. We're going to see Sherb immediately go to the roof and rotate around to join up with some of his teammates. We're going to see Fox try to open up that door and see if he can't get a member of Georgia in rotation. Start air jabbing it up, sectioning off areas to let him know if people are roaming and rotating. As he waits for his teammates to drone it out for him and let him know who's where. But it looks like that drone's ended up going to get mozzied. We're moving another way. Boise State to get the vision, but we're going to see the Mozzie actually scouted out through the roof with a drone. We're going to see Juco opening up one of those reinforced walls with his thermites, as he's going to be rappelling off of it as well. Boise taking it a lot slower this round, scouting it out as much as they can, trying to find out where the roamers are and where they can possibly attack from. Danny going in through the first floor once again with his Ash Elite skin that everyone has. Because if you play the game at a certain, you got it. Even I have it. And I'm not that good.
Well, you say Boise State taking it a bit slower this round. What's really kind of the decision, the factors that play in decision on whether you decide whether to try play it slower or faster?
I think it's with the new bomb site, with the new ops, it's just they have to change how their playstyle is. And we're going to see Fox get the first elimination onto Ghost in a Jar, but then we're going to see Double Tap take out Danny on that first floor, evening it up, and Juco's already down to top 10 HP with Sherb getting the kill right over the desk, but then taken out in the back by the Fox. As Ultrasen then takes out Double Tap, Boise State now pushing onto site, trying to get a quick pick through the wall, as they end up doing exactly that with Juco, leaving it as a 3v1, and they have to push bomb site, yet they know he's there. I don't even know which member of Boise State has the diffuser. I believe it's Juco, as they find out where the final member of Georgia is. So they know they can at least push one of the bomb sites. But Juco ends up taking him out with a headshot, winning the round for Boise. And as we called it, Danny with that elite skin, they won the round.
Yeah, very much. But if we're going to call it for elite skins, we also got to just take note of the other trend now, and that it's been alternating wins for each team. And Boise State now needs one more win. But if we're looking at how each of the matches have gone thus far, University of Georgia is on schedule for a win here. So could Boise State break that trend and just close it out with a win now?
We can only hope, as we see Boise go with the Ying once again, and Danny, no elite skin either, going Amaru, an op we have not seen in this matchup so far. So I'm curious to see if with these op change-ups and no elite skin for him, if he's able to take it away. But it looks like he's going to 6-pick to an elite skin with the IQ. Hearing us talk bad about no elite skin made him switch, and I guess that just means Boise's destined to win, right? They got 3 elite skins on their end, right?
3-0, that's a win in my book.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see how Georgia defends this site with both a Bandit and Cade. The hard electricity hold here on the second floor site that they just lost. See if they're able to change it up just enough to hold out against a Boise State victory in a 2-0 best of 3. But one can only see in the wait. See Danny get his cam right above that entire open area, seeing both the hallway and first floor. See the Fox begin to barricade up that ace site, as well as
5 seconds left.
the rest of his team there. It looks like that Valkyrie's still going to go first floor roaming like she did last time. Looks like University of Georgia is just going with the same shot of 4 people near the bomb and 1 outside of it. You see members of Boise State open up that window looking out for a possible roamer as they begin to ascend those walls and attack this site. And we see the
Hopefully-
upside down Ash grenade launcher.
Oh, no, my brain's already melted enough. I can't do upside down.
That's okay. I'll teach you like the top pitch.
Finals week is tomorrow, okay? I can't have any more stress right now.
See, I already had a final, so my brain's already mush. So I've just accepted all of it and pushing
Good
forward.
point. Yeah. Oh, no.
He swapped back. He swapped back. It's okay. He's
Okay,
normal right side
good.
up now. And we do see them just chasing this Valkyrie with the drone. Little buddy just chasing her down as she will eventually take it out. But she is fully scouted out, so unless she has a miraculous plan in store, she does get it picked off by Danny, though, as Sherb also picks off Snackery. 2 members of University of Georgia down in this possible final round for them, unless they are able to win a 3v5 with Danny under a quarter HP. But Fox does get a headshot onto Plush Rush, leaving it a 5v2. Things not looking good for University of Georgia.
And the
Bomb
pressure's
located by
definitely
attack.
on them. Boise State finding bomb A.
Yeah, and it looks like Danny's going to try to take out some of Cade's traps through the floor, allowing Thermite to go through the wall. But it looks like 2 members of Boise State's going to go down to Ghost in the Jar and DeFox. DeFox taking down Fox with a headshot again, quickly evening up the scoreboard, putting it in Georgia's favor with Mozzie being full health and both Danny and Ultrasen being below full. How quickly the tides have turned in this matchup with 50 seconds remaining for match point. A lot of pressure is on both teams here.
Passing smoke.
Taking it slow and steady as Ultrasen tries to draw attention away from Danny. But he does get taken out as he did not know one of the members was to his right, I believe.
Attackers have recovered.
Leaving it all up to Ultrasen to win a 1v2 with 20 seconds remaining. But he is taken out with Georgia Manning to win a 2v5.
Wow.
Doing very well.
Well, okay, what did I tell you about that last one? We have the clear schedule of games lined up now. Georgia has won their game. Now who's on schedule to win this one where it's still a match point?
As long as Danny chooses his elite skin, there's no way Boise should lose according to that.
Well, he chose one. He chose one last one.
We can only hope. We can only hope. They'll clutch it back. They'll clutch it back, maybe. It's still match point though, so unless Georgia wins here, Boise does win, and if Georgia wins, then we'll go into overtime. So, very curious to see how this plays out. And it looks like Boise's going to stick with the Lion, but change. Danny's going to go to the Sledge and no longer elite skin, so...
But a nice
Risking it
checkerboard
right
thing
now.
going on. A nice kind of checkerboard pattern thing going on as well. So still a little bit of that aesthetic advantage that's so important.
Yeah, and we are going to see that Valkyrie get 6 picked into a Jaeger. She did not get a ton of value roaming last round as she was picked off immediately by Danny. So, hopefully, they'll be able to do a bit of a harder hold, closer to bomb,
Attackers need to
and win
locate
this
and
fight.
defuse bombs.
Well, we have some viewers in Twitch chat right now rooting for a map 3, just wanting to see an ultra-competitive game, see even more Rainbow Six. But it could all end right here if Boise manages to pull out the victory.
Yeah, as much as we'd love to see more Rainbow Six from both these teams, as it's been such a close matchup, just like the last stream was, I really hope to see... I would love to see a third map, but I wouldn't be surprised if Boise manages to pull it off here as they lost last round. And with the current trend we've been seeing, they
10
should
seconds to
technically
go.
win here. And if they do, it just proves that the theory's correct.
5 seconds remaining.
So
We're not gonna
Attackers are
specify
heading
which
out
theory
to
is
the bomb.
correct. We're just gonna say the theory's correct. Make of that what you will.
Just make a broad statement. Just be like, I was right. Not gonna say what about, but I was.
Somebody was correct in that last match.
Drone is ready to go.
Exactly. And here we're going to see Sherb immediately pushing on to that B-bomb site. So it looks like Boise's going to go for the aggressiveness that we all know and love. But it looks like Sherb's also going to flashbang himself. As classic as that is. But we're going to see Juco already on site planning immediately with that elite skin. The power of the skin's winning for Boise State right now. taking the entire match down to 45 seconds as Juco is then taken out. But Sherb is quickly there to revenge for his teammate. 30 seconds remaining as DeFox then takes out Sherb, but Fox is then
Located the
take
diffuser.
Fox then takes out Double Tap, leaving 25 seconds remaining for this team as Danny takes out DeFox as he pushes him. Plush Rush, though, takes out the 2 remaining members of Boise State, leaving it all down to Danny. As Danny takes out the 2 remaining members and wins the round and the game for Boise State.
And the GGs come out. Boise State pulling out the victory there as it headed down to 1v1 for both teams. Boise State with the overall score of 7-5 in round 2 is going to take the overall match, making it 2 victories for the Broncos tonight. An overall great night.
Yeah, amazing plays by both teams. Very close matchup. We see the scoreboard there. DeFox had 15. Ghost in a Jar had 11, Sherb had 10, and Danny had 17 for that entire map. So, just great game by both teams across the board. Danny and Sherb doing very well for their team, both on defense and attacking. Even without the elite skin, Danny was managing to just pull out the win for his team.
Yep, a great game and a great victory, and some great viewers in Twitch chat as well. We want to thank you very much for all the support you've been giving. And that'll do it for us tonight for both these games. I do want to thank you, Bear, for being with us and giving us all this play-by-play. A thank you to Fish also, who was able to host the first game. And a thank you to production as well for all that they do for us. But for now, that will do it for this broadcast of Boise State Esports. Again, you can go to boisestate.edu/esports. I did it again there. boisestate.edu/esports to find out scheduling on when the next streams are. But for tonight, that'll be it for the stream. So thank you very much. We hope you join us next time. Stay safe.